All right, guys, we're here. Hello,
Hello,
Bring It
mate.
Battle. Hello, Nostalgiahammer Hobbies. How you going, guys?
Good morning.
Not
Yeah,
too
not
bad,
bad.
mate. Not too bad.
I'll say good
So
morning for you. It's good night over here.
And I love this.
Yeah.
All the comments.
It is 9
It's like,
p.m.
it's us. So
I'll
everybody,
be careful not to talk over everybody, so I'm going to shut up for a minute.
No, you're right. You're right. Thanks everybody for joining us. We've got Carnifex in here. My good mate Carnifex, and Thomas is here. We've got Go For It Painting. So hello, guys. Thanks again for joining us for myself and of course the Bring and Battle guys and Danny at Nostalgia Hammer Hobbies. So yeah, hope you enjoy the show. Hey guys, did you like that intro? You're very special.
Yeah, that was, I said to Jace, we should be headbanging.
Yeah, no, I did that. It was a very nice intro. That one, I like that. It's a good tune.
Yeah, I actually had the time to do it this weekend, so that was good. But guys, thanks again for joining us. And
that's right, mate. Always a pleasure. We were saying on our live chat, because we've just finished the live chat, you've been really supportive to us since we started, which has been great.
Yeah.
So it's really, really, really good that you have been kind, supportive. You've been very helpful with comments and stuff like that when we've been chatting on Messenger. So this is great to do for you, mate. So appreciate all the tips and advice and support you've given us over the last couple of years.
No, I love doing it. I love talking to you guys. I bring people on to like talking to, and I like supporting the channels because I get that in return. You know what I mean? Like people watch my stuff, or they comment, they share the videos, or they recommend it to people, and I do that vice versa because I like your stuff. I like watching your battle reports, and we just found out the other week you guys started it before I did. I thought you said I started it, and you started it before I did.
I genuinely thought when we were chatting to you, I said, Jace, I thought we were the first to do a second edition battle report, and I looked at the dates, and I thought you picked us at the post by a month. And then when I went back over and checked for you, just to double check, it turned out we were a couple of months ahead of you.
That's right.
The difference being is, though, Josh, your battle reports look like they come straight out of White Dwarf with your terrain and your well painted models and that. So ours is a poor man's battle report.
Yeah, I think they look pretty good in the Scout Hut. Are you guys playing the Scout Hut?
We're in the Scout Hut now.
Yeah.
Because we're doing this, we're in the kitchen, so it doesn't echo as badly.
Ah, right.
The hall does echo. So we actually went outside and we're like, oh my god, how bad is it out here? Yeah. Well, I don't think we can fit a table. I reckon we can fit a table in here, Yeah, I'm tight. I'd have to sit on the sink. I'd have to sit on the kitchen side.
So I'm pretty sure the guys are pretty familiar with you guys, like Bring and Battle Gaming, Wargaming that is, and your battle reports, whether it be second edition 40k, bold action. You do, what's the other fantastical game you do? Kings of War.
Kings of War.
When's the bloody epic one's coming? When the bloody epic one's coming? Come on. You've been talking about epic.
Yeah, that's so exciting. I can't wait for that. Which one? When's the epic coming?
Yeah, you've always been talking about it for ages now. I said, get
they send me the models to paint for them, probably.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. He's got nothing to do. You need to get him paint. Get onto it.
He can't. He's got to do an army for you next.
That's all right. They're only small ones. I'll fit them in.
Keep the guy busy. Now, Danny's from Nostalgiahammer Hobbies. Hey, Danny, how you going, buddy?
Oh, I'm not bad, mate, at all. Not bad. Oh, yeah, I'm the new one to the crowd, aren't I? I've only really been going a couple of months on YouTube.
Yeah, mate, that's it. And they're really good videos, mate. For first videos, I've got to say, and I'm not bullshitting you here, they're really well put together. So
thank you very much. I must say, I take a lot of inspiration from other content creators, to be honest, to go through, spend a lot of my time watching YouTube. So I've tried to take as much inspiration from the YouTubers that I quite like, and try and piece them together. But thank you very much, because editing's hard.
That's why I do it.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yep. But no, you've really put a lot of thought into it because, like most people who start a YouTube channel and start filming stuff, they don't really put in the thought of like a storyboard. You know what I mean? Like, this is my sort of, I aim and this is how I'm going to put it together and that kind of thing. You've actually thought about it and did it that way. So hopefully people will be listening to this, and we'll put the link in the show. I think put a link in the show notes. I think you put it for your website. I need to put it for your YouTube channel as well. To go and check out Danny's YouTube channel, and please subscribe and like and start commenting and supporting you guys on that, because it's really good. So tell us about it, Danny. Tell us about your YouTube channel. What do you got on there?
Well, at the moment, it's just starting off painting the second edition 40k stuff. So I've got quite a bit of that to do. It's just some lovely opportunities there for some rescue and repair jobs in there as well. But later on, I want to get on to doing things like Epic, and it's more the nostalgia angle of it from when I started in the hobby back in early 90s. I think it was back very, very early start of it when I was 12. I think it was something like that. And just getting a chance to revisit that. Because eventually I also want to do some terrain videos as well. So like looking at the old codexes and things like that, like looking at some of the old terrain, how it was all scratch built. It always fascinated me when I was younger. And now as I'm getting older, when you look at it, you can actually kind of see how it was made almost. Whereas before, when I was younger and you look at it, it's just like, that's amazing. How do you make that? And then as you get older, it's like, oh, I see, it's that. And there's a bit of that. And I think there's some of that. So that'd be quite good. And I also want to get onto a load of fantasy stuff as well. So one of my mates is trying to get me into the 6th edition fantasy. But my one was mostly Chaos Dwarfs, which I believe was 4th edition.
Yeah, 4th and 5th edition, yeah.
Yeah. Like those were that was my first ever army that I ever did. But when you look at the prices of them on eBay, it's like, and they might just stay a memory for a little while as well.
Yeah. Yep, I feel that pain. Yeah, you should get it. There's some great guys doing 3D printed Chaos Dwarves. I don't know if you've seen them. Babazel and Brainiac, the 2 guys who are doing it, and they look fantastic. Oh, yeah. So you can relive the dreams of the Chaos Dwarf army at a very small price point. Just get Jason to buy that 3D printer people are urging him to get, and then you can print them out for you. Easy. No problem.
You can't do it.
But then you can say it's all our fault that you got it. So you just cave to peer pressure.
That's it.
Thanks, guys. Yeah. I'll pick up with what Danny said there about the terrain, because I said to Jason I would like to do a second ed themed battlefield for our battle weekend in October. But he's right. You look at it as a kid, and you think, how the hell did he do that? Josh, what you need to do is do a video now. You've done those rock spires that you use in Epic and 40k.
Yeah.
Because they're really good.
I mean,
and I like to know how to do them.
Sure. Yeah. I really want to do terrain as well. I love doing the terrain. You know what I mean?
Because those battle bunkers you did were really good.
Well, actually, now I've got to say that from Carnifex sent me those 3D printed. Okay, they're all 3D.
But the paint job you did on it was really good.
I just painted them, so I certainly can't take credit for putting them together. There is no way I could find the time to do that nowadays, but I'd love to do it. I've got big plans for doing especially 40k stuff, like orc buildings and all that kind of thing. I've said that thousands of times I'll do it, but this time I'm really going to do it.
I've been thinking the same thing. So I want to refresh the orc army we got, but have some orc buildings. I mean, I got Games Workshop released a couple of modelling books. I've still got them. How to do the orc buildings, and that made them look all ramshackle, this, that, and the other, for a themed battle. But that's well into the future. But we get spoiled with terrain now. Because back in the day, like when Danny was doing it and you were doing it and we were all playing, we had to make the terrain. And now, I mean, we were able to field 6 tables up this weekend. I mean, no down to all your terrain you've got, because you went on a mad thing and painted loads. But it's the fact you just glue it together and paint it. Where back in our day, we had to make it.
Yep.
I must say, one of the
kind of lost.
It was one of the bits of terrain I was looking at in the Chaos Codex for 2nd edition. And as you get in there, where you've got the army spread, and it's got the Chaos shrines that are in the background. And I was looking at those going, God, I wouldn't mind recreating them. And then you look at the top and it's all the old epic Primarchs that are all over it, and the old metal demon models and stuff like that. And you're thinking, no, maybe I won't try that just yet. Because back in the day, it's just, we'll just pop in, pick up like 4 or 5 blisters, cut them up, and it's done. Now it's like, okay, I'll find them on eBay. And when you find one, you don't really want to cut it up and turn it into a piece of terrain afterwards.
No.
They're too beautiful for that anyway.
I must say that was that was one thing I was saying to somebody. I was put up a little short about painting the weapon for the Hive Tyrant that I'm doing. Is it the not the Venom Cannon, the Barb Strangler?
Oh,
And yeah, I was saying as I'm painting it, you kind of get an appreciation of how the old sculpting used to work, because it's got that natural element to it. But when you look on the back of it, you can actually see how all the tubes and everything go up, and the seed pods where the ammunition is. And I was saying, like, you don't get the models like that these days, like you used to get. Like the Tyranid models, like the new Tyranid stuff with the biomechanical stuff they have on there, doesn't seem to be as integral to the carrier as it used to be. It's almost like they don't make them like they used to, sort of thing.
It's oddly, for a metal model, it's very organic.
Yes, yeah, it's brilliant sculpt on it.
Yeah,
how it actually worked.
It's not the
best it all go together,
world, but it's if it works, it's a nasty gun.
Oh yeah, move or fire one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so you'd have to have adrenal glands just to get a decent shot off with it. You know, so you can move and shoot. Folks, underpointing. No, there's a finely balanced codex. I'll have you know that Tyranid codex. It's a beautiful codex. It's very themed, very fluffy, and that table's amazing. If you roll well on it.
Are you bullying the lads to get a 3D printer again?
He is. Everybody bullies Jason to get a 3D printer.
Yeah, I'm not getting one. I'm not allowed.
It's not bullying. It's gentle encouragement.
There you go. They're so cheap.
Look at that. Carfie's saying they're so cheap.
They might be cheap, but I'll have a house full of models I'll never paint.
Steve reconfirms it's amazing how cheap 3D printers are now. It's crazy not to get one, at least one. At least one.
My thing is for me, as a 3D printer, it's very technical and it feels to me very computerized, and I'm rubbish with computers and downloading stuff. On top of that, I've got nowhere to put it in the kitchen or nowhere to put it in the house. Period.
Yeah.
So you got to download. You got to do stuff to download stuff, and then it's too technical.
I must say, I've got there is a 3D printer on my future to get lists just for potential stuff you can do them for. You could actually use them for, like, not just printing terrain. I always think they'd be ideal for printing out bits and things like that for models.
Yeah.
Like shoulder pads or anything else like that. They'd be absolutely ideal for that. And it's not like you've got to get one of the massive 3D printers for that, I don't think. If you just use it for smaller parts, you could get one of the smaller ones.
Yep.
You've done that, haven't you? Because you ordered a little 3D shoulder pads.
Yeah, I did find ordering the 3D shoulder pads for Marines, so I don't have to do all the emblems for like the second edition stuff. So much easier. I don't have to paint one. I don't have to do transfers. So yeah, I just ordered 3D printed shoulder pads now.
See, the making terrain, what Carnifex said is true, because there's a guy in Plymouth. I don't know if you remember on the back of the one of the White Dwarfs, or one of the Codex rule books in the second edition, you've got that wall. It's like slightly stepped, and it's like a cathedral wall.
I love that.
You know what I'm on about, yeah. Well, he can 3D print that for me. So the plan is to get that, and he can do a couple of bunkers as well. So hopefully next time we do our 40k battle weekend, we'll actually be able to set up the board. I might look at one of the White Dwarfs where there is, I think there's either against Space Wars where they do a bunker assault, and set that board up. Which would be quite cool.
Right. That'd be great, mate. Yeah. So even Kim Nick says, I like making terrain. Yes, I think most people like making terrain. I think it's a very therapeutic kind of part of the hobby that people enjoy, making something from scratch. You know, it's not like we got the miniature, we painted it and that kind of stuff. It's like you have to build something with your own hands. And I think there's something nice about that.
Speaking of terrain,
wasn't
there, didn't you say to us, I don't know if I'm going to drop a clanger here. I'm just going to say Polystari Mighty Fortress and leave it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone was gonna paint one.
Yes.
Yes, you.
And your point?
Well, hurry up.
Don't you have one to paint?
Well, tell you what.
Here's
the ultimatum, mate. You do the epic space marine report, and I'll paint my Mighty Empire's foam terrain castle. How's that sound? You have to do it first.
All right, so you don't want to paint it for another couple of years then? Is that what you're saying?
Mate, you blokes are hopeless. Come on. Give the stuff to Danny. Just send the stuff to Danny. He'll paint it for you, mate. All right? And then
Yeah, I could just turn it into endless amounts of content then. Just be great then, and it's just great fun to paint.
I mean, we've got an Elder army.
Yeah.
But you got an Elder army as well.
Yeah.
But we want to get a space marine together. You must have space marine models.
Yeah, doesn't it?
There you go. Then that's
Also got a squad.
squad.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, then. Get yourself sorted, isn't it? Get them painted.
Yeah.
Contracts.
It's almost through.
Holy crap.
Never weaklings.
Oh my god.
You
got
better just
swaps
print
on
them
the
out.
sprue.
You better print them out. They don't come on a sprue when you print them out, so just do that. That's
Yeah.
much easier.
Yeah, I got the epic squad still on the sprue. So.
What I have to get is the Legion book. Because there's slightly different rules, isn't it? I haven't got the books I haven't got the rules of the flyers. Yeah, that's not bother with flyers. We'll just go for normal. I'll do Elder, SWATs. I got mids. I got Space Marines. That's why I want to get those little trees.
So we're good. Basically, next year we'll do an epic on.
Oh no, we'll do that before that. We'll get it done this year.
Just to say thank you for the 15 people who are watching this right now and people who are commenting. Don't be shy. Come and say hello. Please like the video and please check out the affiliated links in the show description to check out the Bring and Battle Wargaming channel and, of course, the Nostalgiahammer Studios website and Danny's channel as well. XX just made it. How you going? Nice that you come in and drop in and say hello.
Danny, your latest video, which you done with the Death Company, was really good, and I love the fact you put in the little comments my bloody head in the way and stuff like that again, because you're just learning that. You're just your restoration of that Predator was brilliant.
Oh, thank you very much. See, I must say,
horrendous.
Yeah. See, I must say, as I get more of a handle on like editing stuff like that, I want to do bits where you see like photos coming in where it's part of what you're talking about. Say, for example, when I was talking about the Death Company, when I was doing the edge highlighting, I was trying to think of ways where I could have it like with some, like, I don't know what they call it, like dynamic zooms and all sorts of stuff like that. So you could have like me doing the edge highlighting kind of disappear into a corner out of the way and then have the main screen like of the Death Company from the Blood Angel Codex and do a little bit of chin wagging about that. But I just couldn't work out the editing on it yet. I think that's something that's going to come with time, that. But I've got so many ideas for little bits that I want to add into my videos as I go through it. Because I'm not worried about chasing the algorithm where they say like I think isn't it supposed to be like shorter videos or something like that are supposed to be good for the algorithm. And it's like, you know, I kind of like videos like if it's about 25 minutes, half an hour plus sort of stuff, you know, if it's just a painting video, because then it's got a bit of chit chat about what you're painting as well. So I quite like that a little bit.
Who was it? Miniscapes has just done two. One of Abaddon or Abaddon and Chaos Night Lord Terminators. And like 23,000 views.
Really? See, I must say he's a chap I've had a bit of a chat with. He gave me some much needed encouragement right at the start because he did his Predator video just before I released my Predator video.
Yeah.
I saw that, and it's just like, no, what am I supposed to do now? And I saw him put something up on Instagram, and bless him, he put one up saying, "Don't worry about it. You know, you probably got a different take on it." And I'm glad I did. But I really like the way, like you say, he sets his videos up and the way he does his editing style with a little bit of a storyline behind what he's doing as well. So I quite like that aspect of it.
You've got to admit though, that Predator he done up was hell of a mess, wasn't it?
Oh, wouldn't it just? I was almost quite ashamed of what I produced, to be honest, when I saw his. I thought I just made mine look pretty. He's pretty much rebuilt it.
He rebuilt it, didn't he? It was hell of a mess, wasn't it?
Yeah, what he done, it'd been burnt with fire. And it's like, okay, I just made mine look pretty again. It's like, well,
it was a mess. I've got to be honest, well, sorry, Josh, you just listening, Josh.
I'm enjoying this.
I had nids soaking for ages in elbow grease, and it never really touched it. So I've gone back to Dettol.
Yeah, see, I'm starting to think, because elbow grease does work, but I think it takes a fair while to do it. because I think it's just one that I've used quite a lot. So I maybe now that I'm doing the YouTubes, I'm going to have to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm probably going to do thinking of doing a comparison video, because I had a look online. Yeah, well, I had a look online. You know, America and that lot, they always love their either simple green or what's the other one that they use?
I can't think, because the only other one I can think of is bio. You tried.
It's not
BioClean.
No, it's I can't. It's not BioStrip. That's another one. But no, it's another concentrated degreaser you get in the States. And I know the simple green, you can buy that in this country on Amazon, but it's like 89 quid for 5 litres.
Wow. I wouldn't get it because I used it here and it's not that good. I've used it already. Yeah, and I didn't all that impressed with it. Yeah.
Really?
So what do you use to strip models then, Josh?
I use some kind of really toxic shit that you buy from Amazon here in Japan. It's like really dangerous stuff. Probably sniff it and get a good high on it, but yeah, that stuff will clean if anything, mate. Like that stuff will just strip. It will strip plastic miniatures
for a quick fix.
Maybe it's just down because it does seem to be the concentrated degreasers seem to be the ones that are quite good for stripping paint off. Like the more concentrated and nastier they are, the better they seem to do it. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Like I say, it's a bit of a curious one.
But you got to be careful when it's on plastic. You risk it going soft. When I tried the Dettol, I had an old broken Bucky beaked Tyranid Warrior, and I thought, right, well that's broke. I can't do anything with it. Maybe look like a wounded nid. So I just popped it in the Dettol, left it for 2 or 3 weeks, pulled it out. The paint just fell off, and it was hard. The plastic was still hard. And that's a 30-year-old plastic model. So I was really quite impressed with the Dettol. The only problem is it proper stinks. I wouldn't touch fine cast anyway.
No, fine cast.
No, I bet it doesn't.
No.
I think that's one of the worst.
So I've gone back to Dettol so I can strip the metal models.
Yeah.
If it's metal, I just chuck them in acetone. Blink, done. Get them out. Really?
Mate, you're gonna have to do a you'll have to get like 3 or 4 different jars with loads with the metal model in it. Say that's BioStrip 20, that's your elbow grease, that's your Dettol, that's your that, and then do different individual ones. Do a video of that. That'd be great.
There you go. Stephen said I stripped a rhino with a scalpel before. The paint was so thick.
Paint was so thick. Wow.
Woo.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how you got a sonic cleaner though, haven't you?
Me?
Danny.
Yeah. See, I think that makes a difference with the elbow grease, to be honest, because the elbow grease definitely it strips paint off quite nicely. Although I did find with the Death Company, it didn't strip the paint off the plastic parts very well. It did it better on the metal parts.
My mate who painted that probably used some really nasty paint, or used the original, because those models are so old. He would have painted them with like back when they first came out, and instead of stripping, he just added another layer of paint on it.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that's
it was the elbow.
The paint was so thick.
Yeah, and it was the elbow grease I used to strip the paint off that Predator, and that did it beautifully. So I don't know. It seems to be a bit hit and miss with it. It's a strange one.
I sadly wasn't overly impressed. I thought, this is gonna be great because it won't smell. I just scrub away, and I tried to scrub a Termagant. I was like, nah, this paint would have come off by now. So I
just say you probably just didn't do it properly. It's, practice. It's not my fault. It's not bad advice. It's purely poor listening. That's all it is.
It's user error. Look, Josh is buggered off.
I'm looking for that bloody golden demon thing again. I've lost it again. Yeah, the questions. They've got the quiz questions at the back. Behind me the whole
you didn't find that with Johnny either.
Yeah, it's over here. I can see it there. I'll get it. You guys keep calling. I'm just going to grab it.
See, actually, Josh, I wanted to ask you something first. Anyway, and he's gone. Oh, well, never mind. I'll ask him when he comes back.
It's a nostalgia battle talk show.
on my grey fluffy pants. Lucky you.
It's
Yeah, Danny, what's the matter, mate?
I was going to say, you said that you used to work for Games Workshop back in your days in the heavy metal team at one point.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, for a brief stint.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, because painting's my ultimate favourite part of the hobby. What was your favourite model, do you reckon, that you ever had the opportunity to paint working for Games Workshop?
It's a very funny story, Danny, because when I first started there, I brought a case along of miniatures that I painted in the UK because I took nothing from Australia. And now at that stage, I was 21, I think. I'd only been painting for about a year and a half, 2 years, not very long at all. And the stuff I painted in the UK wasn't very good. It wasn't up to heavy metal standard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when they open up the case, all the guys from Dave Perry, there was Neil Thomason, sorry, all the big names, not Mike McVeigh, but all the other guys in the painting studio were there.
Yeah.
And they picked up the stuff and they just went, ugh. It's
oh dear,
very underwhelming. I thought, oh god, this is not a very good first impression. So I was like, oh, I don't think I got this job, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because the stuff just wasn't that very good. So the studio manager at the time, he said, look, I'll give you a miniature. You sit there and paint it for the day. It was a Phoenix Guard, high elf Phoenix Guard.
Oh yeah.
You paint that up, and at the end of the day, we'll see if you got the job, kind of thing. So I painted it, and he said, yep, that looks good. You got the job. So that's how. That was my sort of entry into the heavy metal team. Obviously, they were desperate. I mean, that's the reason why I think I got it. But the first thing I did was make movement trays. Would you believe?
Oh right, okay.
At that stage in the studio, they played games without movement trays. They did it the old school way. They moved each model individually in their unit, that kind of thing, in the fantasy stuff. So they said,
"Oh right,
okay, these are the units we need movement trays for." I think it was for the Dark Elves or whatever. So I did all that. I just made movement trays on a big bloody, drop saw thing, and with balsa wood and that kind of stuff. Painted them up, put sand on the outside, painted them goblin green and all that. So that was my very first job. And then they said, okay, now we need some conversions done. So we need a champion for the crossbow Dark Elf unit. We need a Witch Elf champion. We need, this and this and this. So I would actually convert the models and then paint them to the same, try to match them to the original ones and then put them into the units. So in the 5th edition, I think the rule book and the battle book, you'll see some of my conversions in there that I did.
Oh really?
Which I'm really proud of. Yeah, I did the Executioner champion, the guy which has the. I just basically did a head swap. I took the head off the Cold One Knight champion and stuck it on a Executioner guy. Yeah, that's one of my paint jobs. I think that's probably my favorite one of the one I did there. So I was only there for a very brief time, and you basically got to work your way in and then prove yourself to get to doing the character models and that kind of stuff. Because Neil, who was sitting next to me, he was doing all the character models, and Paul was doing the character models, and Torben was doing a lot of the Wood Elf characters, like what's that big dude, Orion. He did Orion and all that kind of stuff. So they were like the top level painters. So they had the cream of the crop of what sort of character models and nice stuff they could do. Everybody else had all the rank and file stuff to do. You know what I mean?
Oh right, yeah.
And just before I left, I did a lot of the Lizardmen for the 5th edition starter set. I painted those.
Oh yeah. I remember when those came out. I remember that edition of Warhammer Fantasy getting released, and looking at all the new Lizardman models and the Croxigors and everything, and just looking at them and going, "Oh, nice!" That was a whole new route they went with those ones.
I was going, "Oh my god, this looks bloody hideous. They look bloody awful."
Oh really?
I hate those models. It was very underwhelming when I saw it. And I saw the Bretonians. Like, wow, they look really cool. And I got, oh god, I got the bloody Lizardmen to do. I really wanted to do the Bretonians, but I didn't get the chance to do them. I had to do some Saurus, plastic Saurus, and that kind of thing. The metal Saurus ones too, and they were just hideous figures. Even today, I don't like them. So,
oh really?
Yeah, no, I don't like them at all, mate. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh.
I think the Chrono Command community sort of know my feelings about Lizardmen. Real PTSD.
That's it. I'm building a Lizardman army now. Well, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it, Danny. That's my foray into the heavy metal team back in 1995.
Oh, right. Did you do anything 40k at all? Or anything?
Nothing. I don't remember
No?
anything 40k. No, when I started working there, they were working on the 2nd edition Chaos book. So Paul Muller was painting the what's the Khorne champion guy?
What, Khan?
That's it, Khan Betray. He was doing that, and he was like painting on all the little faces inside his, Khorne helmet. He got that little space.
Wow.
He was actually painting all the little faces. Yeah, he's a brilliant painter, Paul. I really admire his stuff.
Yeah, that Khan the Betrayer is one that I always remember. I look at the, like say, those little faces painted on the top of Khan's helmet. They always absolutely amazed me when I was younger.
Paul was the best painter for Chaos. He did a lot of Chaos stuff. All the champions, all the Chaos sorcerers. He did the best Chaos stuff. Like his style just suited that perfectly. So if you look at the 4th edition Warhammer Armies book, a lot of that's painted by Paul. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
Josh, did you ever get to meet Michael McVeigh?
Yeah, because he worked upstairs. He worked in his separate room. So it was him and Owen Branham. They were working together in a separate room. And then all that Mike did, he would make the books. He would make the dioramas and that kind of thing. He had the special projects that he would work on. He wasn't part of the heavy metal team then, because he went into his own little position, and he started working on all those how to, paint Citadel miniatures and all that kind of stuff. He would actually make those books, and I think he had a lot to do with making the paints and that kind of thing, like formulating the paints and colors and stuff like that.
Wow.
So he took more of a, sort of a role in the studio where it was sort of separate from everybody else. He had a very privileged kind of position there. And of course he made all those amazing dioramas, which would have taken months to do, So, think of
from a painter's point of view, because I know Danny said this is one of his favorite aspects of the hobby. It's probably one of my least. But you two obviously commission painters. What are your go-to paints? Because I've managed to buy some Vallejo ones, and I found them really good for the bolt action stuff. They're quite a thick paint. You have to water them down, and it's got quite a good pigmentation in them. But are you pure like Games Workshop Citadel paints, or do you branch out to like Vallejo's fancy range of I think it's called Game On or something? And Vallejo, do you use all different styles? I mean, you've got Duncan Rhodes' One Circle stuff as well. And Danny, I know you tried a nostalgia range as well, didn't you, Josh?
Yeah, Danny, you answer first. What kind of paints do you like?
Well, at the moment, I mostly just use Games Workshop paints, but I have tried some of the Vallejo game range, and they are quite nice, because I think the Vallejo ones still have the vibrancy that the GW paints used to have, whereas the newer GW paints aren't. They're a lot more pigment heavy, but they're not as vibrant and as bright as they used to be. I find.
Yep, I would say that. I'd say the same thing. I'm a big Vallejo fan, huge Vallejo fan. So I avoid Citadel paints as much as possible, because I just prefer Vallejo because of the dropper bottle, the type of paint, the quality of the paint, and like what Danny just said, it's got a nice satin finish. And I think a lot of the Citadel color now is quite almost like a matte finish, almost like the Vallejo model color range. That's a matte finish, like your World War II, your historical stuff. And if you want to go like Hero Hammer style, then you need really highly saturated colors. So I do use the War Colors range, War Colors 94 Nostalgia range. But my preferred paint of all time is Vallejo. Yeah.
When you say Vallejo, what Danny mentioned, the game range, the fancy
I use
range.
game color, model color. I use the whole thing, air color, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. They're ones I'm slowly starting to branch out more and use more of the paints, I think, to be honest, for the Vallejo ones.
Yep. No.
What about brushes then? Because I always find a problem with getting a decent brush that will hold a point, but have a fat belly to hold a lot of paint in it as well. What are your go-to brushes then?
I like the Army Painter Regiment brush, actually, for base coating and doing like edges and some basic edge highlights with it. The Army Painter Regiment brush is actually quite nice. It holds together fairly well. I mean, I'm terrible with brushes. I don't know what I seem to destroy brushes like they're going out of fashion. It's terrible. The amount of money I spend on brushes is ridiculous. I seem to be going there like every 3 months and picking up a couple of brushes. Like, how am I doing this? What am I doing? But I don't know. But I do like.
Are they real hair, or are they synthetic?
No, they're sable brushes. So yeah, they're proper hair ones. Although I have actually just tried the Games Workshop's synthetic range, and they're not bad.
All right.
I've got to say, actually. So if you're doing base coats or just washes, like they're not a bad product. Well, I assume that. I mean, it was about £4, I think, for the GW synthetic ones, and it's not done any weird curling on the tip or anything majorly, and it's doing quite well. So I think for a cheap brush, if you just want to do some base coats and that lot, I would say like your GW synthetic's not bad. If you want to do some like nice simple edge highlights, the Army Painter's Regiment brush is quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to try and go really nice and thin, the Army Painter's Masterclass brush is quite nice, because I like the shape of the handle that the Army Painter has with the triangle-y shaped sort of handle.
Yeah.
But I also like the Rosemary & Co. Hang on, which one is it? Rosemary & Co. Series 8s.
Series 8?
I really like. I really like them because they're actually quite long bristles, and they're quite thin. They don't have a very fat belly on them, but they are brilliant for really fine detail.
Yeah.
But then again, I think I hold brushes a bit differently to some people, because I hold them quite high up the handle.
Right.
Well, I don't tend to hold them right down by the bristles. I tend to hold one like almost. Sometimes I even hold it above the. What's it called? The metal bit which holds the bristles in. I'll even hold it above that sometimes when I'm painting. Right.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, everyone's got a unique style, and I've seen people hold brushes so weirdly, like kind of like that. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. Yeah. So everyone's got their own sort of unique thing. How they hold a pen, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
As long as you got the control, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, my daughter's similar like that. When she writes with a pen, she'll cup it a different way to how I would hold a pen. She does the paint as well, and it gives her a lot more control. And I've seen there's a female painter, and what's she called? I think it's she's a Canadian girl. She has a channel. I said, Kate, look at this, and she holds it the way my daughter does. Yeah. So she was quite chuffed with that. Silver and steel or something. Oh yeah. So you know they do all of that, don't you?
So what are your collective thoughts on the airbrush then? Because I know that can sometimes be a bit of a. It almost seems to be a taboo thing to mention sometimes in the hobby painting things, like is using an airbrush.
I've got to practice that, and I need to change. I've got a pistol grip thing. And I was talking to a guy at work, and I bumped into him. He's got one where you push it down and pull it back, so you release the air and pull it back. And he said the control on that was so much better. It's an expo thing. Yeah. So it's an avenue I need to go down if I'm going to do stuff. I think it will help massively for terrain more than anything else. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be able to use it for models bar undercoating, maybe. I don't know. But I'd rather just still be old school, concentrate on my paintbrush skills. More than anything else.
What about yourself, Josh?
Now I use it for. I love it for priming miniatures, mate. Like the Vallejo primer. I think it gives a lot of control. It has a really nice fine pigment to the model. Like it just gives it a really nice clean finish.
Yeah.
So I've been using that for years now. The airbrush for priming. Not so much for painting. For terrain, it's essential. Like for terrain, I could never do terrain without an airbrush. You know what I mean? No. It takes so much longer without an airbrush to do terrain, or just get a bigger brush, doesn't it? Yeah, and that you see all the brush strokes and everything. The airbrush just gives that nice, clean, straight finish.
Yeah. I only ask because I know, because I use an airbrush not as much as I would like, but more than what some people would like, if you know what I mean, when it comes to painting miniatures and things like that. But there was one I was watching on YouTube, and another guy, I think is 52 Miniatures. I don't know if you've heard of him on YouTube. He's a very, very good painter.
Right.
And he was saying, like, when you look at the differences between the scale modeling community and the miniature like tabletop community, like tabletop miniature painting, it's always been paintbrush. isn't it? It's always, everyone thinks it's always paintbrush, blah, blah. But with scale modeling, airbrush has always been something that's been used just as much as the paintbrush. It's just like you say, like airbrush gets used for like foundations and then building tones up and things like that, and then they go in and refine with the paintbrush.
Yeah.
And I kind of think like an airbrush can be used very much for miniature painting in that same regard. Like, I think a lot of people seem to almost have, I don't know, it's weird. It's like an automatic distrust of an airbrush. So, or like you say, it's like some people say, oh, it's not proper painting. It's like, well, it is. Because
it is. It's a skill.
Yeah, it's paint. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like some, was it like you see some of them like Juan Hidalgo and people like that on YouTube. Like they are like their skill with the airbrush when they're doing it. I've seen some of them doing like non-metallic metal on miniatures and stuff where they're using an airbrush and then going in afterwards. It's like I can just about Zenithal Prime at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a real skill to it, and I think Angel Geraldo has really popularized airbrushing for miniatures.
Yeah.
He sort of set the stage for that, and then everyone started following him. Like, he's got airbrushes named after him. I mean, the guy really sold it to people, I think, in his painting guides and all that kind of stuff, and now he does YouTube videos. So, I think there is definitely, if you're willing to put in the time to learn it, I think you can do it. And then it's a mix of both. It's not just airbrushing. It's like airbrushing to put down certain to get that kind of really nice ping or nice, transition between colors, the highlights and stuff, and then go with a brush to do all the lining in.
Because that's one thing I've noticed in my admittedly quite short airbrush journey is the skill ceiling to get reasonably good at it. Like be able to pick out like a shoulder pad or something like that, or a knee pad. Pardon me. That's not too hard to reach, I don't think. It just takes a relatively small amount of practice. It's when you want to start getting to, like you say, like Angel Heraldez and people like that. It's like, that's a high skill ceiling.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me again.
But didn't you use an airbrush on the Predator, Danny? Yeah.
Use an airbrush for doing base coats and stuff like that on that one because it helps to do a nice smooth coat over the whole, especially over something the size of a vehicle. Like, I mean, you can do it with a paintbrush.
Did you give it?
Probably about 2 or 3 go-overs, I reckon. But that doesn't really take very long because by the time you finish the first one, like, you start off in the corner a bit and then spray over and you get to the end of it. Where you started is dry anyway, so then you basically just start again. So it's just go over and do it.
My experience with an airbrush is I don't know if I now undercut with a can or a battle can, as people like to say. A spray can, but I think I did it wrong because I thought, it's raining outside. I used the airbrush to undercut my models, but of course, because it goes on so thin on metal, it was just rubbing off.
You can actually get metal primers which you airbrush on first. Again, it was one I saw on this guy who does scale models and things like that, because obviously they use a lot of etched brass parts on a lot of the scale model kits. So you get primer that you can put through the airbrush it's transparent, I think, and it goes over the metal, and then that helps as your primer layer on that, and it doesn't flake off so much.
Would you use contrast through it?
Yes. Oh yeah. Contrast paint through an airbrush are beautiful.
Yeah, you can't. You obviously don't have to water that down.
No, you don't have to. No, you don't have to at all.
Gosh, you're old school painting, right? I mean, you're brilliant. I love your high-end farming. But you use contrast at all?
No. I've only started getting to contrast, not contrast paints, but just the contrast medium. So you just buy that little pot, and at the local art school they actually sell Citadel paints now, the technical stuff and all that kind of thing. Grab one of those, and I thought, beautiful. I'll try that because I'm interested in it. Because people like Whiskey and Wizards, Ben, he's a really, really good painter. He uses it, but he uses some kind of arts kind of supply stuff that he uses a dropper bottle and drops it in, not the actual contrast itself.
Right.
He uses some other kind of medium, like an artistic medium, and he uses it with a dropper and he drops it into the paint or ink or whatever, and uses that in a big bottle, But yeah, it's interesting. Like for certain applications, for really translucent paints, it works really well. So like for my Gene Stealer Cold Army I did for Carnifex, for the Gene Stealers the heads and all the purple parts, it worked a dream. But if you've got like a really dark color, I don't think it works well. You know, so I'm sort of experimenting now with it. Yeah.
You say that Whiskey and the Wizards, he's amazing.
He's really, really good.
The blue and yellow he does on those outfits are just something else.
Yeah, I've got to get him on the show at some point, and we can show. I'm actually going to show you some of his work in a minute in that Glorious Bastards segment. So you got to wait for that. So we're going to go to our just some questions from the people in the chat here. So we've got Stephen saying, "What are you all working on for personal armies and channels previews?" So, Danny, are you working on anything special, mate, at the moment for yourself?
Well, at the moment, I'm just about finishing off a Hive Tyrant video, which has got a little bit of a conversion work in it, which I've attempted for the first time with cutting because it's for Richard himself, just the young man down at the bottom there. For his, he wanted twin bone swords on it, so I figured instead of having, because he did initially give me 2 bone sword arms just to put on the Hive Tyrant, but the Lash Whip arm doesn't have that big bony shoulder pad. Right. So I thought, well, can I convert them over? So I basically just cut the bone sword off off its original hand and transferred it over onto the Lash Whip one and cut some of the Lash Whip up and things like that, just to attempt it, because converting metal models was very different to these days when you can do it with the plastic ones.
Yeah.
So that gave a go, and I'm going full Tyranid Codex paint job on it, or at least attempting it to the best of my ability. It's got a nice little bit of wet blending in there with the contrast paints down the barrel of it. That's like when you said about contrast paint, I was going to say that's a good thing for contrast paints could be used for is wet blending.
Yes, yeah, I found the contrast medium really good for blending. It sort of gives it a kind of, it sort of extends the paint or whatever, I don't know, but it does something nice like that, as a flow kind of medium maybe.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant for that. And that's my next upcoming video on that. After that, it's mostly at the moment 2nd edition 40k stuff planned for this year. Going from some interesting Slanesh chaos stuff to some more Blood Angels and hopefully some terrain.
Awesome, man. Okay, that's awesome. I look forward to seeing what you do with the Noise Marines, because I absolutely love painting those with Carnifex. They're just awesome models. Yeah.
So. I've got to admit, I am very much looking forward to those Noise Marines.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Awesome. Jason, you've been very quiet, mate. Jace, what have you been working on?
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Mate, I'm working on a 3rd edition 40k Spaceful 13 company from the Way of Terror campaign book.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got loads of bits of Chaos Marines, normal Marines, and Spaceful Marines, mix them all together so they're not all just generic Space Marines. And I'm painting up those at the moment and using any bits and pieces I can find.
Yeah, but you might have to give Josh a little bit of a load down on the lore because he hasn't gone past 2nd edition, has he?
Yeah, I haven't, mate, no.
So he won't know what the 13th company is.
Basically, it's the 13th company we're sent into the Eye of Terror to hunt down Chaos Marines, but they've all got their mark of the Wolfids. They're more feral than normal Space Marines, but because they're in the Eye of Terror, they're basically stripping Chaos Marines for parts, so you can have Chaos Space Marine legs with a normal Marine's top off, or the armors up in the backpack, so it just looks a bit messy.
They're Chaos Mutants.
Yeah.
They're Chaos Mutants.
They're going to the throne, Danny.
Consider me educated. I never knew that. So that sounds interesting. I look forward to seeing what you come up with then, because it sounds like a lot of conversions and bits and pieces of like 3rd ed plastic.
It's all plastic, so it's not too bad. It all fits together quite nicely. It's just getting some of the old bits and stripping them off and cleaning all the glue from old bits and pieces I had. But basically, I could actually just use all my spare parts I had lying around and get it used up, so I don't got more rubbish lying around the place. I can actually make a whole army out of bits and pieces I had. So I'm going to be doing finishing that this quick year, then going on to Goblin Kings of War army after that.
Great.
It's going to take me a long time.
Yeah, you're going to get this done in our 6-month challenge.
Yeah, this is basically I've got to get it done within 6 months, then start a new army afterwards. So,
maybe the airbrush should be good for that, mate. Your goblin army. Maybe an airbrush should be good for that, maybe, yeah? Or
Yeah, I
contrast?
probably will. I probably will try get the airbrush out again and do that. Then put some contrast over the top of it just to knock them out. There's gonna be so many of them. It'll be taking me years to hang out bells.
It won't.
It will.
It won't. You'll have it done in about 6 months.
No, no.
You'll go, oh, Rich, I've got a new army. Oh, what you got? Goblin Horde. Right across the board.
Yeah.
And I would have painted 5 models.
But no, yeah, I'll definitely get the airbrush out for that and try and practice out again because I haven't used it for a while. I did a load of scenery back along and I was getting I can get quite thin lines with this and I can do this little bit here and that little bit there. And then I stopped using it and went back to it and freaking hell, I can't get anything. But I find mixing the paint, the right concentration of the paint and water, you water it down a little bit. I always get it wrong, so it always comes out too thin or too thick, and it never. So in the end, I just go right. That's ready-made air gun paint. I'm using that, so I have to mix my own.
Yeah, you can get that though, can't you?
Yeah,
airbrush paint.
Yeah, because I can't mix it. It always, like I say, it's always either too thin and it just splatters everywhere, or else it's too thick and my gun blocks up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a painful beast to tame. I think the airbrush at times when things start clogging up and ruining your flow of painting and that kind of thing. I know that. I feel your pain, mate. That's for sure.
Don't forget,
Rich,
Blog said when we first went to a gaming convention, he said when you practice your airbrushes, do grids, and then wherever the cross is on the grid, spray a dot in each one, and then spray in the middle of each square, just to practice.
That's why I practice on terrain. It's easier.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Just listen to the master, Richard, mate. There you go. Good sound advice.
Who's you talking about? Me. I'm just banging out some nids because I've learned over the last couple of battles that I can't take out jet bikes. I need a bit of firepower, so I'm just trying to. And I'm cheating. I'm using contrast paint, so they're not going to look good close up. But I'm just trying to literally bang out as many nids as I can.
Yeah.
So I've got some devourers now. I've got another 3 to strip and glue together, so I'll get them done. I've got, oh my god, so many Tremorgons to do. I've got a lot of Hormagaunts as well. I want to get the rest of the Hormagaunts done. There's another 20 Hormagaunts or 25 Hormagaunts to do. So I'll have literally 60 odd Hormagaunts on the board one day. I'm going to get the gargoyles done. So they just turn up with Jace when he's got his guard and go, oh, there's 36 gargoyles. This is my jet bike army for you. But you move so fast, I need 6s to hit. I don't care. At least you can attack me in combat, unlike your jet bikes. So I'm just trying over the next 6 months to bang out as many nids as I can, just to give me the flexibility when I do armies. I want to do later on in editions. They do something like a Godzilla army, and it's just monsters. Well, in later editions, monsters were just like carnifexes and hive tyrants and stuff like that. But in second edition, monsters are warriors, lictors, Xanthropes, stuff like that. So I just want to do a whole army that's just monsters. And I've got the carnifexes to do it, got the hive tyrants, got the warriors, so I can just do everything as a monster. I mean, it won't probably do very well, but it'd be a laugh to do against you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's all right. You're welcome. So I've worked it out. I can have about five carnifexes in one army.
Wow. Got to stop him, Jason. Stop this madness, mate. You got to stop it with a hammer. Yeah?
Yeah. Well, and I thought about it. I'll promise this now on live chat, right? I will never field psychic screen. Because you never field psychers, but if you do, right? But if you do, it's such an overpowered power that you can be robbed of a psychic attack. I mean, it's like genomic attack, but it means that if you can put a psychic on the board, so you can do stuff like iron arm and stuff like that, that'd be a right good shindig game, wouldn't it? So it's just pointless using psychic screen because it's just like it's a bit of an overkill. That's why I don't use psychers. Nah, you don't. You should use psychers. Psychers are great.
Absolutely, Jason. Psychers are brilliant.
Yeah.
You got to take a psyker. Come on, take a psyker.
Yeah, you got to take a psyker, haven't you? Just so you can play energy drink.
Yeah.
Or psychic jewel or something.
would say take salt cans. The last one did that. It blew up.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well for you last time, did it?
No, it didn't, did it? Serves him right.
Stephen Bonner is posting so many questions up for a guest here, which is great. So thank you again,
Very
Stephen.
quickly, Josh.
Yeah, mate.
Polar Man, who was on our live chat recently, he asked us to ask you a question because he had to go out. How difficult do you find it trying to introduce people to Fantasy Battle War Second Ed in Japan?
Very good question. Well, I kind of don't. You know what I mean? It's like existing players. You know, I'm finding guys who already have an army. They already know the system. So I'm not really introducing people fresh in most cases. Warhammer Renaissance is the system we play for Warhammer. So it's kind of like I've introduced people to that. I've introduced Justin to 5th edition. So he was one person who'd never played 5th edition fantasy and started playing it with us. And then now we're all playing Warhammer Renaissance, which is kind of like 4th and 5th edition. A mix of those, you know what I mean? So
is that a fan base thing?
It's a fan base. People, yeah. The Balder, the guy from Denmark, wrote it. It's on Facebook. You can download all the rules and the army books and everything like that. It uses the same magic system as 4th edition battle magic, the same one you've got. You've got that set. You know what I mean? So it's like a modern version of 4th edition. You can take like all the army lists are sort of updated to, you know, include things that were in 8th edition kind of thing. So it's like a big mix of stuff. So you can have, I've got like players who are much younger than me who played from 6th to 8th edition. Well, they're playing it as well with us because they can include all their models. They got, you know, profiles for them, and the rules are really, you know, easy, straightforward sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a really good system. So we'll have to give it an expose at some point again to get more people into it. But yeah, they're the systems we play. It's not, you know, I like to introduce things like Man of War to people because most people have never played Man of War. But when they do play it, they really love it. You know what I mean? It's one of those games that I think anybody who experiences Man of War, they just fall in love with it. So, but yeah,
Man of War is definitely one of the games from my youth, which I sorely miss. So I think I miss all those sorts of games Games Workshop used to do. Like you had Man of War, then they did things like Mordheim, stuff like that. You had like Gorka Morka, you had like Battlefleet Gothic and all that sort of stuff as they were doing those sorts of things as they come out. I miss those old smaller game titles they used to do.
Did you ever play Dark Future?
Never played it.
No, I never played that one. I did play a little bit of Inquisitor though. I played a little bit of the Inquisitor when they brought that out because those models were superb. The larger scale ones that they did. Yeah, those ones were absolutely beautiful. I loved those models.
Yeah, awesome. They were huge, weren't they?
Yeah, nice one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we're just going to burn through more of the questions here. We've got here. What game systems do you guys play? So we know from the channels, like from my channel and Ring and Battle channel, mainly 2nd edition, Bolt Action, Kings of War. Anything else?
One-page rules, 3rd edition.
Oh, one-page rules. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we got into one-page rules because we had all the sort of slightly newer models. When we went back to 2nd edition, we tried to be as authentic as we can and use the models from that era. Although having said that, we do tell people, you know, it's fine to use the later models. It's playing the game that counts. But we found with the Primaris and stuff like that, we're like, but there's no rules for these models. So they're going to just sit there collecting dust. But then we found one-page rules and they've got everything and additional stuff. So different races now. Like the Ratkin in space, isn't it? So you've got Skaven in space. So there's rules for that. There's rules for sort of Japanese, like very Oriental style type robot things. Yeah, and there's the Tau sort of in there, but they're all called something different. So it means if you're fed up with the way 40k has gone now with 9th and 10th, say, I'd strongly recommend giving one-page rules a go because you can use all the models you got.
All right.
Yeah. So there's that, and of course there's rumor we're going to do everything.
Because that you don't do your world army, and then they do theirs. You do a unit, I do a unit, you do it. So you're never going to be like wiped out the first turn.
Yeah, there's no alpha strike.
You're going to play no matter what.
It's surprisingly quite tactical, and it's the route possibly Andy Chambers wanted to go, because he wanted to get away from the your goal, my goal, where it became unit activation.
Yeah.
So where one-page rules has it where you literally know you're going to take it in turns, and then and this is the great thing, if you've got an elite army and you finish all your units and say, I've got another 3 units to do, I get to do them completely uninterrupted, but I know the next turn, Jace is guaranteed to go first because he finished first. So as you lose units, your army then might become the smaller army, so then that gives you the tactical advantage of going first the next turn. So it's quite clever that way.
Yeah.
It's like all 40k without the faff. It's really good.
Right, okay.
And it's free.
And it's free, yeah. It's all free to download.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the good things.
Aspects.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we will do Epic one day.
Yeah, come on. Hurry up, will you? Okay, Danny, have you mate?
I like watching yours, so you hurry up.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely a second edition 40k player. I like the Blood Bowl as well. And Warhammer Fantasy 6th Ed, my mate's trying to get me into, and I'm thinking giving 6th edition a go on that one. Just to compare it, because like I said, I used to play the 4th and 5th edition back when I was younger, and then I stopped playing after about then, and I never played it again. But I hear it said quite often that 6th edition apparently is the king of all editions. So it's like, okay, so I'll give it a go. I've watched a few battle reports, and it does look quite interesting. So I was thinking I was going to start giving Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition a go with that one as well, and branching into that one. And that's probably it, to be honest.
Fantasy battle, and that's Kings of War.
I don't know. It's still.
Don't listen.
Yeah, the Kings. I like the models. I got to admit, I do like some of the models for the Kings of War, but I don't know. I prefer the gameplay for Warhammer Fantasy. Although I must say, having seen some of the stuff that I've heard about the new Warhammer Old Worlds, it does seem like that might be a bit of an interesting rule system to try out.
Right. Well, that's the great thing about it, isn't it, Daniel? Like, you've got so many different editions now. You've got like the homebrew rules, like Warhammer Renaissance. You've got from the new Old World all the way down to 3rd edition, if you really want to. You've got you got it's almost become a historical game, Warhammer.
Yeah.
Like historical game, you can just choose a different rule set, use the same army. It's kind of like the same thing now for fantasy.
Yeah, it very much is. It very much is, and it does seem like it could be quite interesting in that one. It's like I like 40k 3rd edition as well. Like as they started to bring in the new armies, didn't they? Like Necrons became more established in 3rd edition rather than just their couple of little units, I think. And was it Dark Eldar came out in 3rd edition as well?
Yeah.
And the Tau.
Did Tau come out in 3rd? I thought they might have been a little bit later than 3rd. Was that
near the end? Yeah, Tau.
The
3rd edition Tau come out.
All right, because I've got to be honest, I do like some of the Tau models. I'm not a fan of the Tau gameplay, but Tau models could be quite interesting. They remind me a lot of like anime style mech robot suits.
Yep, they're very much a Japanese anime aesthetic. I think
because that's actually my personal little secret hobby or secret love is Gundam models. I love the Gundam stuff. I've started advancing up. I'm up to the master grade kits now. I've worked up to in them, and my next project is I'm going to start some tentative steps into customizing the kits a little bit, because
that's good.
Yeah, I mean, just the detail and the way the Gundam kits are put together are beautiful, and they're so poseable, and you can do so much with them.
Right.
And that's I've been toying because like I said with my channel, where I'm like the Nostalgiahammer side of it. Like Gundam models have been about for, I believe, Gundam kits have been about longer than Games Workshop has. I think, isn't it?
Probably right. You're probably right. Yeah, I'd say that predates Games Workshop.
Yeah, because I know the actual Gundam anime was I want to say about the 60s or 70s it first started. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong, but I think it was about then. And I'm sure you had like early day kits would have been around about then. So it could be quite interesting. I was thinking of maybe edging something like that into my channel future on down the line. It's like doing old school Gundam kits and then customizing them and adding a slight little twist to them, and mixing up the painting styles, because you've got the Gundam style of painting and then mix that with the Games Workshop style of painting and see how the two would gel together a little bit.
I've got to send you some video. I've got to send you a channel link of a beautiful young woman who's she's Japanese. She's a model, and she puts those kits together.
Oh yeah,
low cut revealing tops. I'll have to show you that one, Danny. You'll love that. Your eyes will be glued, my dear sir. Yeah, because it's funny because I live in Japan, but I'm not into the whole Gundam thing. I just it hasn't gripped me. Yeah, but
you
should do it. You should do that.
It's really nice. The models. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's the model kits. It's purely the model kits for me, to be honest. Because like I said, my initial introduction into anything hobby related was back when I was I remember being 8 years old and putting together an Airfix kit of an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
And so that was my first introduction to it. And then obviously like you get the Games Workshop kits aren't the same sort of kits as scale model kits. Whereas the Gundam kits, they find that hit that in-between ground between the two, where you've got the major detail of like the scale model kits, along with the sci-fi aesthetic of like Games Workshop style stuff, and they gel the two together, and it's such a lovely mix for me.
They're all nice and clean, aren't they? Nice and clean lines. They all they are really nice models. Yeah,
this is completely gone past me.
Yeah, the models are very nice. They all remind me of as a kid. Do you remember Zoids? We used to take Zoids. We used to put them together. It's that very much. They've done them all cleaner and nice. They are really nice models. There was some of the last show we went to. There was a couple of guys there, and they had actually a game and all the models, the Gundam models.
Are you talking about those big Japanese-looking things that are fighting around the skyscrapers?
Yeah.
Like bloody Power Ranger. Yeah. And they all morph together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could. Some of them possibly could do stuff like that.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Yep, no, that's good. If your passion lies there, you should definitely do it for your channel. That's for sure.
Okay,
we've got some questions coming in. Counterfix says, "What biscuits does Richard always steal and eat first?"
It'd be chocolate digesters, mate.
That's it.
Although we got Fox's triple chocolate cookies today.
Yeah.
But Lizard Man incoming. Yeah. Let's all send Josh from Lizard Men.
Absolutely. Better still send Danny the Lizardman. He'll love to do that.
Quickly, Josh, did you ever play 3rd edition Fantasy Battle? Because I've gone through. As you get older, I had a massive drive of nostalgia. I ended up getting all the books I used to have, and I got I'll never play it, but I got the hardback 3rd edition Fantasy Battle set. I even managed to get hold of the Warhammer Army book as well, and I've still got the Siege book.
Wow!
Rid of that. But did you ever play 3rd edition Fantasy Battle?
Look at this beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, that's the best book.
Oh yeah.
I love that book. I look at it as if that book right now is still by my bedside cabinet.
Is it?
Yeah, I love it. It's falling to pieces though. It's just the old hardback book, and it's just I just love that.
Your poor missus, mate. Your poor missus. What she has to put up with.
Yeah, I cuddle that in bed, and she's like, "Can you attack me and lay siege to my fortress?" That's right, love. I'll get me battering around and
a little bit too much information there. Okay, thank you. But that's.
But it's such a good book.
I've never played 3rd edition. We're gonna and like when I went back to Australia last year, I found my original copy of it, but it's all in pieces. You know what I mean? Like the spines were terrible.
Yeah,
they just fell apart. So I've got the resemblance of what was left, and basically I need to get a new book because it's hopeless having such a big tome like that when it's all in pieces. I better just get a new book somehow. I'm hoping that Games Workshop re-release it. They do like a made-to-order.
Well, they did with the Rogue Trader book, didn't they?
They did that. I'm hoping that they do it for 3rd edition as well at some point. That'll be fantastic. But yes, I do want to play it.
But even though I don't play it, and I probably won't play it, what I do love doing is looking through at the artwork.
Yes, I love the artwork.
The artwork,
That's
and I think that's something that's
artwork,
missing
model.
in the newer editions.
Yes,
I
yeah.
don't know, is the artwork. And I love Paul. Is it Paul Bono?
Paul Bonner.
And I think my favorite is Mark Gibbons.
Yep.
The artwork.
yeah.
Paul Bono is really just funny. You look at some of his drawings of that. There's so much going on. And look, I think Adrian Smith is another one.
Adrian Smith.
Yep. Yeah, there's a. If you look at it, there's a warlord titan with a chain fist or chainsaw going into a building, and there's orcs looking at the battle going on. But then you start looking at the detail, like what those snotlings are doing and stuff like that. It's hilarious.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, I love it.
But Mark Gibbons is probably my favourite because of what he done with some of the artwork in like the High Elf Army book, the Warhammer books, and the 40k Codex books.
For me, the Mark Gibbons drawing of Mephiston and the Angels of Death Codex is one of the first pieces of artwork I remember seeing that really stuck with me. And then as you go into the Hive Tyrant Codex, the Tyrannid Codex, you've got his illustration of the Hive Tyrant. Like that one is just that piece of artwork is just such it's hard to describe it. It's such a hard-hitting nostalgic piece for me when I look at those. Like some of them.
Then you look at the Chaos Corn Berserkers stood on the skulls. That's a important piece of artwork as well, isn't it? Really good. He's so good.
Yeah, no, they're amazing. Especially if you think about how much artwork Mark Gibbons pumped out during that era.
Yeah,
you know, the guy was just a machine, mate. He was an absolute machine.
Like the Dragon Prince and the High Elf Codex and the I love the guy holding the sword off or whatever. But it's just amazing, artwork.
Again, Stephen, thank you so much for the questions and all your input in the chat, mate. I really appreciate that. I don't think we'll have time to go through everything. I don't know what our time frame is for these guys tonight, because you got to play a game, don't you, today?
No, we're not playing because we're talking to you.
Oh, good. So we've got you all night then. That's great. We'll do another 3 hours.
Yeah. Probably much for us stay to about 1 o'clock in the morning, shall we? Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, so what's the next one here? What's the next question we got here? Let's see. Okay, here we go. Question: do you use airbrushes, and what model do you recommend? Okay, so Danny, what airbrush do you have, mate?
I actually have Sparmax. Hang on, I'll just 1 second. I shall tell you which one I have. It's not a bad. Hang on.
You take your time, Danny. You're all right.
Well, I've got to make sure I get it right. Right. The one I started out with is the Sparmax SP35C, and it was only about, I think, 55 quid for this one, and it's good enough to do. Like, I'd say it's accurate enough so you can do like shoulder pads and stuff like that if you want to do a nice little accurate spray on it. But if you're just going to use one for like a Zenithal Prime or something like that, a cheap Chinese knockoff one's perfectly good. Like you don't need to get one of the amazing like Iwatas or anything else like that. Get yourself like a £15 Chinese one and just get a similar sort of like a £20 compressor. You know, if you're just using it for basic priming up and you're only going to use it occasionally, you know, I'd say something like that would be fine. And then expect, like, as you get a little bit more adventurous with the airbrush, then try for something like a Sparmax. And then, I don't know, I think, like, cheaper end, really. But that's only really as you start to get to a stage where you want to be more precise with it, I'd say.
Right.
I can highly recommend just, like, starting out with, just a cheapish Chinese one with a nice, cheap compressor. And away you go from there.
All right, Jason, what airbrush do you have, mate?
Me, I literally got a couple of Chinese cheap ones just to basically learn on. Otherwise, I'd probably spending loads of money to learn. I'll just get a cheap Chinese one for about 15 quid.
Yeah.
If I break it, I ain't wasting any money. If I just bought one was quite good, then I bought another one, same kind of thing, and just kept to add 2 on the side.
Yeah.
So the compressor, I can't remember which one I got, but it wasn't that cheap. It was a couple hundred, I think about 100 quid or something like that, compressor.
Wow.
But the air guns, I just got a couple of just to So I'm never going to use it enough to really justify spending silly money on the guns. But I just want to use this for undercoating, do terrain, learn to get. If I get good with this, then I'll get a better one. But at the moment, I ain't got it good enough yet, so I'm just keeping it with the cheap one. So,
Good, mate. That's
yeah,
good.
let's
Man.
get
That's
the
a good way
price
to do
down.
it. Yeah. I think I got a cheap one too when I first started. I think it was called a Runaway. I think it's an Australian company who did it. I'm not sure, but yeah, it wasn't so expensive, and I sort of got into it that way, and I started doing terrain with it for Infinity back in those days. It's a great little thing to start off with, but now I use an Iwata, and it's probably like the entry point Iwata. It's like $100 or something like that, like 50 quid basically, and you just can't break them. You just cannot break these things. They're just built to last forever. You know what I mean?
All right.
So yeah, I use it for that. I mean, if you go to like Angel they use those Steenbeck and
Harder and Steenbeck are those. Yeah. Or it's
top end 200 quid or whatever. But
although they do Harder and Steenbeck do a similar sort of entry level one. It's about £100 UK sort of money.
Right.
So I'm not sure what that would be in Australian dollars or something like that. But that's the next one I'm thinking of going up to, because it does more precise work and it's starting to get into the realms of doing the really quite accurate work with them. And got that. But like I said,
you probably need like what Jason's got, a really good compressor, because you need that constant, like you need it. I don't know the whole thing behind airbrushing. Obviously there is there's a relationship between the air pressure and your air and the airbrush.
There is, yeah, but all you need for that is I mean, I've only got a mid-range sort of like, I don't know, I think it's about £60 compressor that's got an external secondary tank that comes with it. And as long as you've got whatever the solenoid valve where you can adjust the pressure on them, like I don't think you need to go into the realm. Like the only difference I think when you get into the realms of specific airbrush compressors is when they turn on to fill the tank up. I don't think they're like a constant burble. They sort of purr and then switch off and then turn on and off, so they sort of pulse to turn on, so they can be a lot quieter. But other than that, like the 50 odd pound one I've got with the tank on it, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But no. So like I would say like you can start off with like the cheap Chinese one to begin with, which is plenty good enough to get yourself up to like doing zenithal priming and doing a little bit of nicer work on shoulder pad size. Then from there, like you said, Josh, the one that you try that's about 50 odd pounds, $100, whatever it is, sort of thing like that.
Yeah.
And then when you get a little bit further with that, then start looking at like the Harder and Steenbecks or the Iwatas, which are more in the realms of like 100 quid sort of thing, because they then get a little bit more precise. I think Badger's another company that makes some quite good ones.
Yep.
I think as well. I mean, Sparmax, I believe, do some higher up range as well, but I don't think they go as top end as ones like Harder and Steenbeck and stuff. I think Sparmax are the affordable, decent range, I believe. At least over here in the UK anyway, I believe.
Rich, you got any airbrushes, mate?
I got lucky, to be fair. A mate messaged me and said on Facebook Marketplace, just at the road from you, there's a bloke selling a airbrush with a compressor and some paints for 70 quid. I thought,
that's good.
All right, let's give it a go, because Jace kept arguing on about airbrushes doing training and that. So I thought, all right, okay. So I drove up there, so it was only about 10 minutes up the road. Got there, the thing hadn't been used. His dad had passed away and they were just clearing stuff out. So it had a whole selection of Vallejo airbrush paints.
Wow.
The thing was, the airbrush gun was still in the packaging and that. I'd opened that up and you had a little compressor about gauge so big.
Yeah.
Sounds like what Danny uses. It fills up the tank, goes, starts off, and as you use the pressure, it will drop and then it will fill up again.
Yeah.
The problem is though, it's a trigger gun.
Right.
And because I'm left-handed, the filler is on the right-hand side, so I can't see. I've got to sort of hold it like that as I'm doing it. Where if I was right-handed, the filler's on the other side, and I can see clearly. So that's why I want to get a top loader and use one of those push pull things. Oh yeah, so I couldn't get it to work. And then we found out that once you took it apart, there was another valve inside that you'd done it for adjusting. It doesn't work, James, it's cracked. Yeah, so I had it fully closed. We're like, oh no, this comes off. Hang on. So yeah,
That's funny.
and my experiences with airbrushing haven't been great, to be fair. Like I said, I'm trying to undercut metal models. It just doesn't work. So I'll go back to it because I'm going to use it to paint that castle. I'll use it to do some terrain, but I'm going to get a top loader and a push and pull.
Sure.
Airflow. But the model I had was I think it's Expo. So I looked that up online. They weren't cheap. So I got a proper steel there for 70 quid with all the paints. The paints alone were about 30 quid.
Yeah,
I
that's
got
good,
really,
mate.
really, really lucky there, but I haven't capitalised on it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at least you got a. Listen, it sounds like you got a decent airbrush. You got a decent compressor. So you got.
I think I have, but it's user error.
Yeah.
It's a great bit of kit. It's just not used very well because of what.
Yeah, it's quite. I mean, what I like is quite a few videos out there. And I watched one that was going out through all the different airbrushes, like, oh, this is the price of this one, this is the price of this one, and so forth. And the guy was like a professional, and he goes, yeah, if you're starting, get this. If you don't need that, just get this one. And he was going, well, there ain't much difference between this one and this one, apart from this one's a 50 quid more kind of thing. He says, unless you are going up on a high scale professional airbrush, he goes, then you want to get those, but else keep it mid-range or lower just to get yourself used to it.
If you're not going to be doing fantastically painted models and terrain, you can get away with it, basically. Yeah, definitely.
Unless you're like Danny and that, that's what he does for his career, then you get the best of. But anybody starting off, just get something cheap just to get you a feel for it. But don't get down about when you stop being freaking hell, this is a right mess because this is going there. Because I find it better if you're starting, go out and buy ready mixed paint because that'll take the big old problem out of it straight away. So you'll be going, oh, this is not too bad. If you try mixing your own straight off, I'd
say that's probably the biggest learning curve with the airbrush is learning how thin to get your paints when you're doing it. That's the biggest learning curve on them, I reckon.
Yeah, it is.
Do you use
Absolutely.
water or do you use like
thinner? I used thinner. Yeah.
I just use water.
Yeah.
I just use
I had a
water.
bottle of thinner, so I used that, and I have used water as well. But I just kept going a milky solution. I'm thinking, what the fuck's a milky solution? Every time I go, that's pretty milky. And it's like spider web.
I'll tell you what. The one I watched. The one I watched was Angel Heraldez.
Yeah.
Like watch his videos, like how to like just watch loads of his videos and watch when ignore that, consistency like skimmed milk or anything else like that. I've never understood that. I just watched his and it's surprising how thin like you actually want the paint to go through an airbrush properly. And it's all about your airbrush compressor pressure.
Yeah.
So put it down to like about 20 psi is about right, I think.
Yeah.
Anything over that, you might just run the risk of just blasting the paint everywhere.
Yeah, that's what was happening.
Yeah.
That's why I felt
highway,
brilliant.
A bit more forgiving, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
my
the airbrush is it's a technical thing that you have to take time with. You've got to be patient with it, and you just got to go through the hurdles like everybody does when they get one. It's going to clog up. It's going to make your life a misery. You're going to throw it around the room and curse it and just wish you never bought the bloody thing. It costs you a fortune. After 2 months, after you get the teething problems out of the way, it's a beautiful thing, and you'll love it.
Yeah.
So,
that's my end technique, isn't it? I mean, I've always talked about trying to push my paint that little bit more. One thing I've never done is wet blending. And I thought I might try that. And there's going to be that point where when I do start trying it and watching these videos on YouTube, it'll be a complete mess. And I'll be like, what am I doing? But then you'll get past that and you'll think, wow, my technique's absolutely fantastic now. This model looks amazing. So I'm like, we're talking years here, you cheeky bastard.
That's it. Get him doing it. Get him in there. That's it.
I'll see
Quick jab. At least he's painting,
We've got
Jason.
frying pans here, mate. They've got frying pans.
He's giving it a go, mate. That's the way. But yeah, anything you try for the first time is going to be, because they say, Josh, how did you do this? How did you do that? And it's basically just, I've been doing it for 30 years. It's like anything. You got to, and like Danny would say the same. If you've been painting for a very long time, it's just you do something, you practice it over and over and over and over and over again. Naturally, you're going to get good at it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I wish I could draw. I wish I spent a lot more time drawing, because if I did that a lot, if I did it every day, I'd get naturally better. So it's like any kind of skill. You just got to put the time and effort in it. But thanks again for guys joining in. We've had record viewers today. I think over 22 people coming in today. It must be you guys. You guys are just magnets, chick magnets.
Jason's one of them because he's got his phone on and watching. So he can see the comments coming up and down.
Stephen Bonner wins the amount of comments today. It's been fantastic, the stuff he's doing in the chat here. We've got Dan to say hello. Hey, Dan, how you going, buddy? Hope you're still here with us from America. I think from the Midwest in America. He's part of the Musty Wargamers channel, and I really like watching those live streams every Friday. And who else we've got? We've got Cameron here, Kraken's Wake. Yeah, please put the Gundam YouTube in the show notes. He wants to see a nice-looking young girl putting Gundam models together, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd like to see that channel as well.
Yeah, I bet you do. Dave Lister, go again, Dave, mate. Dave's behind our... Dave's a great guy. I'm going to have him back on the podcast. He was my very first interviewee on the Kranich Man podcast. Did you know we do a podcast called the Kranich Man?
Yeah, I listen to it quite regularly.
Yeah, so Dave was my very, very first guy I had on there talking about his Wood Elf Army for 5th edition. He's out of Canada. And I said, because like next month is the 4th year anniversary for the podcast, I said, come on back, let's come back on and let's do a show about 90s games and stuff like that. So it should be a fun one to do with Dave.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, it's great that he's on. But anyway, guys, look, we're going to do the Games Day quiz, and this one is from Warlord Adrian. Okay, Warlord Adrian Wild. Is it Adrian Wild?
I don't know.
Is it Adrian Wild? My God, I've forgotten. It's not Adrian Wild, is it? Hang on a tick. Because I keep getting his main name mixed up with somebody else. Because there was an Adrian Wild who did the terrain for Games Workshop back in the day. And Adrian Wood. Sorry, Adrian Wood. Keep getting
Wasn't he
Adrian
one
Wild.
of the editors?
He's one of the editors, yeah.
Yeah. He had an orc army, didn't he?
Yeah, he loved orcs. He did a lot of Epic Space Marine battle reports back in the day. He played orcs. He played a Dark Angel battle report as well. And yeah, a lot of chaos stuff. He did a lot of chaos conversions on Epic Titans and stuff like that. Back in White Dwarf magazine and the Journal, I think he was part of as well. But he's got 5 questions here, guys. So I hope you do well. All the very best to you. So it's Warlord Adrian's well-art questions. Number 1, what's the name of the famous evil son mechaniac who rides a custom war bike? That's an easy one. That's a really easy one. That's it. Wazdaka. Very good, Richard. First point for you, my friend. Nice one.
Oh, it's a quick fire round.
Yeah. 2, who created Super Runts? I don't even know this one. I don't know this one. Who created Super Runts?
Oh, God, that's the special character.
Come on.
I've got the model.
Yes, you have.
Yeah,
Oh, dear.
It's Zog Jogger or something like that. Zog, isn't it? Zog Jogger or something. Zog Jogger.
Oh, of
I'm
course
showing
it
my
is.
lack of knowledge.
Yes, that's right. It is. It's in the 2nd edition thing, isn't it? I forgot about that. The Super Runts basically gave them extra weapon skill and extra strength or something, wasn't it? Isn't it extra weapons?
Is it Zog Grit Snot or something?
Yeah, it is. I like that name much better. Yeah, Zogrod Wartsnagger, the snake bite master. Yeah, very cool. I like your version better, Richard. I think that's a new character name, I think, for sure. Number 3, what's the minimum size of an orc knobs mob? What's the minimum size? Is it 5? Are you sure?
See, I never played orcs. I'm at a disadvantage here.
Well, it's 3. 5's like later edition.
It's 3 to 15.
Yeah.
It's 3. I thought so because I played.
Yeah, 5's 3rd edition. Actually, no, it's not. You can't even take a.
Yeah, but it's like I didn't realise that I was so busy bloody putting them in mega armor and mega non armor. Is when matey Adrian turned up with every weapon. So I was like, what? You can't do that? Whipped out the codex. You bloody can. That's amazing.
Number 4, how many attacks has a Pain Boy? So, and a Pain Boy in 40k second edition. How many attacks does he have?
Pain Boy.
He's a special. He's a character, but he's not like
4.
A 4? You
No,
reckon
1.
4?
I'm gonna say 4.
You're gonna say 4.
I'm gonna go 1.
1, Jason?
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Depends. Has he got an extra weapon?
Well, he does come with a bolt pistol, doesn't he? Standard loadout. But I think it's just like.
Are you talking a special character here? A normal Pain Boy would have 1 attack.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too, but apparently it's 2.
Yeah.
Is it?
2 plus his special equipment, so he's really good. I'm going to bring a Pain Boy next time because he can bring the tools, the Pain Boy tools.
Oh yeah, you never said that.
And you get an extra one. Yeah.
You never said he had more gear.
No, this is 2 plus his special equipment. So there's 2 on his profile. 2 on his
Is it
profile.
really?
Yeah.
The Knob's got. If he got a knob profile, hasn't he? I thought they had 1 attack.
Knob's got 2.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, otherwise he's got 2.
Now this will be the most difficult question, so guys, listen up. 5. What is the 1 to 2 result on the shock attack misfire table?
Oh,
Don't it blow up?
Is that the one where the the snotling gets possessed by a demon as it goes through the warp?
yeah, it's not a good result.
Yeah, it's not a good result. But I don't think it's not possessed, mate. No, because I think that was wasn't that Rogue Trader edition?
Isn't it when he teleports himself instead?
Did he teleport himself?
Well, is that your final answer? Teleporting
Yeah.
himself?
Yeah.
No, it's destroyed.
Oh.
Destroyed.
No.
It just blows up.
Oh.
Not so spectacular. Maybe in the Rogue Trader books they had it did something really cool. But there you go, guys. You win today's quiz.
I think he does in the table anyway. Was 1 or 2? It's destroyed.
Because I know in one of the editions I played, I shot a unit. I was the 3rd edition, so I shot a Dark Elf. He teleported himself into combat with a Dark Elf, thinking I was going to lose him. But he actually beat them, and then he went round and did it again. But yeah, that was a later edition.
So well done, Richard. You got. Did you get 3? Did you get 3 out of 5?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, good on you, mate. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay, and just on a side note, Adrian Wood contacted me on Friday or Thursday, saying he wanted to come on the Crown of Command podcast to chat. So that's great. So I'm really happy.
Oh, mate, that's awesome.
Oh, nice.
I won't call him Adrian Wild this time. That's for sure. I have to get Wood written on my forehead or something like that, maybe. But
yeah, I thought about getting Jervis Johnson on.
I will try, but he seems kind of. I did try to go through another guy, Dave, on the Facebook group, to ask him because he joined the Facebook group, the 4th edition Facebook group, to ask him if he would want to come on the show, but no reply. So, and I've messaged him myself and no reply. I think those guys are kind of a bit more private about, and I just don't want to do it. Maybe I don't know.
Because we're really lucky with Andy giving up so much of his time.
Oh yeah, Andy's brilliant.
Chat and stuff like that. Because I know you've chatted to him as well, haven't you?
Yeah. He's
really good with his time. He's really patient as well.
Really, really good guy. Yeah, no, fantastic, Andy. So I actually want to ask Andy to come on the live stream. I think that'd be awesome. So he can answer questions live. You know what I mean? I think that'd be fantastic.
You want to do that. Do what I do and keep badgering and blessing.
Now we're going to go to the Glorious Bastards segment. So this is basically I'm going to present like things in our community, some awesome painters, hobbyists, and that kind of thing, and just give them a bit of a shout out. Okay, so let's go to the first Glorious Bastard of this live stream, and that's Kental Trout doing some 3rd edition. I think they're Nick Bibby dragons, and there's like a turtle type figure here. This is really old Hammer. So Kendall Tran, if you like his work, he's
Yeah,
really
that's
big into
amazing.
third edition
it's
Warhammer.
nice. That's it, yeah.
And
that's really
he's
good.
got a really unique style, and it's I love all the basing materials and stuff he uses for his miniatures, and
yeah, that's really nice. I like them.
You see how that's all based up and that could
I'm gonna
literally
move
be a regiment in Kings of War. You have that. You literally find the dire armors because you never remove a model.
yeah,
So that looks really good.
yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it?
I do love the old Skype.
I love this guy's name. I love that. So thanks, mate, for joining us. Yeah, but yeah, really, really nice, really unique figures. So he's got an amazing third edition old Hammer collection.
Those are beautiful models.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
I remember those zombies.
Now, this is from Highland Painting. Highland Painting is now putting together a Gary Morley undead regiment of zombies, and they're just beautifully done. Like the metallics, especially, are just really spot on. The flesh tone he's done on these guys. Again, a very, very talented, glorious bastard. This guy, I think he's from the UK. I'm not sure, but yeah, really, really nice stuff. He's even got the.
It's like Jay said, they're all really individual characters there. Yeah. I mean, look, one looks like he's holding his guts in.
Yeah, he is there with his skeletal hand.
I'm sure that one on the far right, holding his guts in and that lot. I'm sure he was one that was adapted for one of the Blood Bowl zombies as well for the undead team.
It makes sense because Gary Morley did both of them. He designed both.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. Gary is really good. I mean, he cops a lot of sticks sometimes, but you got to realize he sculpted every single race for Blood Bowl. He did dwarves, elves, he did the humans, he did undead, he did chaos.
Wow!
He did the whole lot.
What, even the elves? That's sort of Jeff Goodman territory, isn't it?
I've just finished doing all the Blood Bowl for a commission, a Blood Bowl Wood Elf team, and they're really beautiful models.
Oh yeah, they are lovely. The old undead Blood Bowl team was my favourite one.
Yeah,
that was my favourite one. Yeah, with the vampire star player.
Yeah,
there's some nice characters in those ones.
Yep. So Gary's an all-rounder for me. Like he can do any race.
I've got two Blood Bowl teams that Eltham Eagles, the Champions of Death, and they're still in the box because sadly it's the last Christmas presents my mum bought me before she passed away. So when I do eventually go around to paint them, they're going to be just pure display models, and I'll put them on make it look like they're on a pitch as well.
Nice.
Yeah, the models look great. They're really good.
Just give them to Danny to paint for you. If you want to do like a display piece, let Danny paint them for you. That's a good idea.
Well, I could. I could actually do a Blood Bowl team myself or something like that and do a tutorial video, and you could follow along.
That's a perfect idea.
That's a good idea.
Use your airbrush, Danny. That'll really piss him off. And Highland Painting's getting this commission from a guy in Scotland, and he's actually hand building this thing. Now, if you hark back to the 4th and 5th edition days, Adrian Wild built this undead chapel or mausoleum or crypt or what you want to call it, and this guy's reproducing it from the White Dwarf pages, which is just amazing. So I really wanted to.
Oh, that's very, very nice.
Yeah, this man in Scotland is a glorious bastard for doing this. I mean, I don't know if he's 3D printing the door, because that door was like a lead door that you could buy from Citadel Miniatures way back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, that door was a metal piece of lead, mate. You'd buy it from mail.
That's what I used to like about it. You could buy. Back then, you could individually buy separate pieces of different army. Now you can't do that. But when you went to conversion work, it was brilliant. So I'll order that leg, that body part. But now you just can't do it.
Yeah, it's a good point because, like, you needed all these pieces, like these little gargoyle pieces here. Well, they were individual models that they sold, and like if you look at the top of the very top area, you can't really see it clear in this photo, but they're actually familiars, like the spell familiars. There's four.
Oh yeah.
The skeletal guy handing up the candlestick. So he's basically holding up the top of the roof. Like in the old mail order days, you could actually buy those. Even the tombstones were available as separate pieces you could buy from mail order. You know, 'cause
Oh, look, man.
But the
So,
trouble
Stuff
is
they
now,
used to do.
when you bought a box set of Space Marines from like 2nd edition, everything on the sprue you use. You buy a box set of Space Marines now or whatever, there is so much wastage because you don't use it all. And you end up with a massive pile of a bits box, which I suppose is handy if you're doing conversions and that. But really, back in the day, second ed, nothing went to waste like that.
No, because you could. When I remember when Gork Morka came out, and I went and ordered all the different knob bodies from Gork Morka, but ordered the arms from the normal 40k separately because I wanted to make different armies, different orcs.
Yeah,
but because you could do that, you didn't have to buy 3 blister packs to get that sword or that, and you would buy them all individually or as bits. So it made conversion work like this so much easier.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I like the detailing that guy's done on the brick wall on the round the graveyard. Just look at that. It's quite nice. I do like that.
That's 3 Scottish glorious bastards in a row. Okay, that's Kettle Trout. Very nice, mate. Thanks for joining us, mate. So Paul Cook, mate, he's doing a brilliant job on this thing. That's brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love that. And that, you know, like things like that inspire us to make stuff like this. You know what I mean? And I love that craft work. You know.
We were very lucky to get a guy called Ola to make some terrain and that for us, and he made a lovely crypt for us with broken railings, like and they were burst outwards, so you can tell the undead has burst out of the crypt.
Awesome,
really nice piece of kit they did for us.
We should do it. We should do a terrain glorious bastards segment too. I think maybe next show. Pick out some really good terrain makers out there because I love all that stuff. You know. Now, this is from WA. I don't know where WA is. Kental Trout, is he from Scotland too? I'm not sure. It could be a 4th Scotland glorious bastard in a row.
Now that's an orc building that I recognise from straight out of the 2nd edition codexes.
Yeah, that's the sort of stuff I want to do for my orc army for a themed game. Yeah,
I do like that. I like the banner he's done on that one.
Me too. It's like straight out of like the old orc books, you know, like Gork and Mork. It looks like Orc's face, you know.
That's what's missing in later editions is you suddenly realise the banners everywhere that you can have in 2nd ed. It's brilliant. Because when I've done my Dark Angel army and I had to print off some of the banners and that, it was so good actually putting banners on models again. And they look great. So I think that's something that's definitely missed in later editions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, your Josh, your orc knobs with all those Bad Moon back banners and that look amazing.
Thanks, mate. I mean, they're not perfect. I mean, I realised when I did.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah, of course. You know, absolutely. I mean,
I'm surprised you put them on the channel. Jesus.
There's certain aspects where I think I could have done that better, or rush that part, and they look a little bit here and there. I'm not going to go into it now. Well, let's focus on this stuff here. So this basically is an MDF building that he converted. He changed parts of it to match the 2nd ed feeling. So he painted all the things on the sidewall. He gave it a coat of like textured paint, and I don't know if he added this balcony part. I think he did. But it's a great terrain, you know. So there you go. Convert it up, change it, make it your own.
Yeah, that is very 2nd ed. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
Although I'm disappointed to see that the orcs aren't on goblin green bases.
That's a fair point, but it's Old Hammer. He can do it. He's got the right.
I'm not saying nothing.
But then you look at Rogue Trader pictures of orcs and marines and that, they're on brown bases. They're brown rimmed bases.
That's right.
Yes, he's a brown rim.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is the Lizardman Fest here. So get your Lizardman love out here for Whiskey and Wizards. completing a pretty big milestone in his personal army. This is not a commission. This is his personal stuff. With his Unitosaurus, he's got his big fat bloody Kermit Toad on a throne. With the Temple Guard, the Croxy Gore unit, Skinks, looks like a Lizardman Wizard, a Shaman, whatever they're called, and like a boss or something like that. So yeah, really amazing.
They're called the Slan.
Are they?
Yeah.
The Sluts of Slan?
Yeah.
Oh, the Toady Boy was the Slan.
The leaders of the Slan, aren't they?
Yeah. I do like those old models.
And Kental Trout says that the Scottish run is broken, alas. Yeah, sorry, mate.
Oh.
We've got 3 out of 3. You've got a trifecta, you've got a hat trick. But not the fourth goal, unfortunately. So yeah, no, really nice stuff. Obviously you can't see much from this, this far away, but if you see his Instagram at Whiskey and Wizards, you'll see all these up close. And yeah, Ben uses a lot of contrast mediums and stuff like that. He gets a really good effect with what he does. And his style is really reminiscent of the sort of old heavy metal style. So, yeah. And he uses like all different kinds of paints. He uses like a TT Combat paint as well. He does a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he got sent a whole heap of them for like review and stuff. And he reckons that he swears by them, saying they're really good. So,
I must say that looks like the feather work on the back, the yellows through to the greens look very nice, and that blue is very vibrant.
Yeah,
that's a very nice bright blue, isn't it?
Yes, that's very nice.
That colour on the feathers draws you into that centerpiece quite nicely. It's that brightness that you want to look closer,
and it's not lost in the green of the base of the map either.
No. Yeah, it's nice.
There are glorious bastards, guys. Thanks very much for watching that segment here, and I want to extend my inspiration and encouragement to get your stuff on Discord or Facebook or whatever. Start painting. Let these guys be an inspiration to you. So there we go. All right, so we've got 20 people currently viewing. Thank you very much again, guys, for coming in to spend your time with us on your Saturday evening in the UK. I don't know about America. What time it is there?
Well, it's 11:15 now in the UK, so people might be just coming back from the pub.
Okay. Was it really? We started at 9 p.m. your time, wasn't it? Not 8 p.m. That's right. Yeah.
9 p.m. our time. Yeah.
And so Dave Bliss has joined us. Thanks very much, guys. Steven's still putting comments in here, which is excellent. What does he say here? Slan Mage Priests are the Wizard Lords of Lizardmen. They certainly are. They're absolutely horrible bastards. Using 2 Blood Bowl Crossy Gore conversions. Oh, yeah, he does too. Yeah, he does.
Nice.
Conversions in there as well. Well spotted, Stephen. That's excellent, mate. All right, guys. Look, I think we're going to be pretty close to wrapping up. So today, because you guys want to go home and have something to eat. Danny wants to probably have a break and.
That's all right. He had a bloody pizza before we started.
Pizza?
Oh yeah, I had my dinner. Oh yeah.
Good on you, mate. Good on you.
What does you have on your pizza?
It was a new Domino's one. It was a bolognese topping on it. Actually. No, lasagna top. That was it. It was a lasagna topping. Quite nice.
Lasagna topping pizza.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right. You might as well throw some pineapple on it.
What's wrong with pineapple on pizza?
I don't mind it. I don't see why people have a really hissy fit about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a pepperoni guy myself.
Hawaiian pizza is my favorite pizza. I love it. Yeah.
So there's 3 of us here that like pineapple on pizza. Are you going to be the 4th?
Well, I don't mind. It's food. It's food, mate. I'll eat it.
I just don't like pizza. Yeah, don't like pizza. Sorry. So Bring a Battle. What is up after the Codex series reports? Okay, so that's a good question for you guys from Dave.
Oh, that is a good question. We haven't thought that far ahead because honestly, because we're only doing 1 battle a month, we'll only be able to cram 1 2nd edition battle in a month. The amount of battles we got left, we've got like 7 months of gaming left.
No, we did think about trying to react some of the ones ones.
Yeah, but
we've got all the models, so we probably won't.
Well, that's why I threw it at Josh. So I messaged Josh and said, because we were thinking about doing like recreating the battle reports in White Dwarf, but I generally, honestly, 100% think you'd do a better job of that, Josh.
Yeah, that's what I enjoy doing.
You've got the army.
Yeah, I'm less
but
about.
Otherwise, the only thing we can do after the Codex Wars is try and do some themed battles. Maybe try and use later edition missions or mission cards, like in 3rd edition. There's loads of missions in there, or scenarios in there. There was later on, you had a deck of cards where you randomly pulled out missions.
Yeah, it's mixed up a little bit.
In later editions, there's ones where you have 6 objectives on the board, and you randomly put out 3 cards. You think, right, I've got to capture objective 2, defend objective 1, and kill something. And we're just wondering whether later edition rules will translate back into 2nd, and would you have to change the way you build your army? And I think you do. I think you have to be more mobile if you're going to do that. You have to go for a lot more fast-paced stuff, so you can whip off and get an objective and stuff like that. So there's lots we can possibly do, but we're definitely having a lot of fun with Codex Wars. But we're getting to the point now where the points are quite high, and we're thinking, I can't spend that much on war gear.
No.
So we're thinking, once you go over certain points, you might be able to have 100 points of extra troops. Don't know. See how it goes.
All right, man.
But yeah, I generally don't know what we're doing at the moment. We've not thought that far ahead-ish. Well, I have, but nothing in concrete yet.
Okay, sounds
We're
good.
open to suggestions, though.
Right, well, there you go. The suggestions suggest away. So Stephen asks, bold action scenarios play and then new armies of 500-point escalation league, perhaps? I don't know anything about bold action. Sorry, you guys have to answer that one.
No, I think what they're maybe getting at is there's bold action scenarios which we might be able to do for 40k. So start with 500 points. And the other thing we were talking about the other day actually is using armies, because we're playing with a rule set that's 30 years old now, so we can get away with anything. And it even says in the rule book about improvising and making things up. So we might look at doing smaller battle reports where they're led by low-level characters that have only got like 2 wounds. Bit like your was it Carnifex Don't Be a Dick rules?
No, it's Kent Fury, mate.
Kent Fury, yeah. So that podcast you did with Don't Be a Dick rules, where you've only got like a level 2. And there's nothing to say a lictor couldn't be leading a Tyranid swarm, because they would follow his pheromones to that area.
Yeah, you could do one like that.
To say a Xanthrope couldn't lead that army, because later editions, the Xanthrope was more linked into the Hive one and gave you that synapses, which oddly it doesn't do in a second.
Yeah, because it's like with Marines, you've got a 90-point captain, and if you want a librarian, you've got to pay more points to get a librarian, where if you're Elder, your leader is your psycho, so you're not paying extra points for it. So we were trying to get the thing about, well, we'll have it, the arms will be led by a level 2 librarian or a chaplain, so you don't have to spend all those points on characters. You never really get their points back. So you've got a bit more choice for those elite armies, but it's just slightly bit bigger than normal.
What do you think our first battle report we did back in May 2021? Jobs, right? That was led by an ex-arc and a chaplain.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to have the captains of the party, because we didn't want to deal with psychics that are in the game. It's been like 20 odd years since we last played it.
Yeah. Okay, next question, guys. Bring in battle. Any interest in any other 90s era GW games non-40k from Dave?
Yeah, you're good for Morgan, and as much as we teased it, I love Space Marine.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah,
I love Space Marine. I thought
you say that, we haven't seen it yet. Come on, we
got to bring it
out. Get it painted.
We won't do Necromunda because we don't have the books for that, so we would never get.
Okay.
Oh, that was Stephen's next question. On eBay, actually.
Yeah, he asked about Necromunda battle reports, but it looks like you don't have the rules. You don't have you probably have the models. You can do it with the models. No models?
No, I haven't got the models. Really? A couple of games that completely bypassed me, Walker and Necromunda. We were just pure. The guys I used to play with, we were just pure 40k. didn't do anything else. So many games went past.
Yeah, so I played 1 or 2 games with Necromunda, but I never actually got in. I never got the books. I just had a gang, and my mates had the books. Now I played with them. But
Right. Okay.
we did
So
Gothic,
Steve
didn't
went to
we?
Gold Star for comments today. So what are people's thoughts on second edition codexes having different suggested points values, games with different factions? So Ultra Men suggested armies of 3k points, while Guard is balanced at 2k points. That's kind of
if
like,
you're going to do high points like that, it'd be so heavily edited because it would take so long to do.
yeah.
I mean, we managed to
don't like
cram in a
big
1500
games
point
for
game,
second edition.
and that takes up a
1500
lot of
points.
our evening.
Yeah.
Yes, this is something, because eventually I want to do battle reports myself at some point.
Yeah.
I want to get to that stage myself as well, just because nothing else is an excuse to use the models that you paint.
Yeah.
Danny, do you live close to these guys, like the Scout Hall at
No, I live south of England, but midpoint. I'm Dorset area, so it's a good couple hours drive away from these two. But I mean, as soon as I'm
Bring a Battle should move to closer to the center of England or something. Wherever you guys are,
that's right. That's right. I think I'll probably move that direction myself at some point because they got Tim Hortons there, which I still dream about their burgers and donuts. So
I still haven't been there.
Lasagna on top of it. Okay, so
yeah.
Space Man 28mm. I think he's trying to take the piss here, Stephen, with you guys.
We can't get it. What about Space Man 28mm?
Just get a big tray and stick your 5 men on it, and away you go. Get some armor cast Titans, and you're away.
Oh yeah, that would be something.
Space Marine 28mm. Sorry, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Did you ever see that from Games Day? The epic Space Marine and 28mm.
So it's Space Marine, but with our models. With our models.
There are pictures from Games Day.
Is you could do a 40k game, or you do a Space Marine game, and if there's like a small detachment fighting over a building, then we could then zoom in on that and do a 40k game around that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
If you look at the early Games Day pictures, there is games where they're playing 28mm, like Epic Space Marine in 28mm with huge.
Oh wow.
Yeah, gargants and stuff. I have to find the photo for you, Danny, to have a look. But it's awesome. They're actually standing on the floor and moving the units around and stuff like that.
I mean,
wow.
Yeah, that's
because
brilliant.
you could have a squad of, say, Dire Avengers, just normal 40k Dire Avengers, and you give them like a first fire or an advance order, and you just use the same rules that you would do in Epic, which means they'd only hit the 5+. But of course, you get no saves and you don't follow fire. Yeah, you kind of, And then Banshees, when they charge in, is close to soap factor of 2d6 plus 6, isn't it? So you could do it. You'd be mad.
Eldar's are definitely an army on my to-do list.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I do. I think Eldar in 4K, but quite aspect warrior heavy, like Banshees and Striking Scorpions, things like that. I quite like some Warp Spiders. That would be quite nice.
Warp Spiders are horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yep. Could play Battlefield Gothic as a combined narrative set of bat reps and missions. That's a pretty good idea too.
Oh, I haven't got any of the Battlefield Gothic stuff now. I didn't get on with that. I didn't like the firepower table. So you could have like firepower 20, but you ended up only rolling like 10 dice.
Yeah,
it was a very different rule set, wasn't it? It was a very different rule set.
Yeah, and I found after a while, especially with NITs, you ended up with so much ordnance because you got these spore mines drifting off because they would act as shields for the hive ships. But if the hive ship moved, the spores would just stay there, and then the hive ship would have to then spawn more spores. And it was a silly.
There you go.
So I don't think what I would like to do, though, and Jason will hate this, is we've got so much to draw from now. Like in 3rd edition, the NIDs had something called a seeding spawn, which means everything used to deep strike.
Yeah.
And imagine doing that in 2nd edition.
No.
Oh, right.
Oh, Jason, leave him alone. Yeah,
but that would be great if I just used cheats.
Yeah, so you could bring all of your guard. Jason could just bring all of his guard along for that game. That would be fine. You know, and then you could just bombard him with NIDs.
You've got all these other rules we can use, like sticky fight and planet strike.
It's a power incentive. No.
Look, it'd be a ceiling swarm, so I wouldn't get to roll on the disruption table, would I? I would just deep strike everything, and you'd have to shoot it and blow it up and stuff.
Jason's still salty that he let too many Joneses in his first lot of army. That's all it is.
Well, that
he needs to name check.
I've shot all the Welshmen. There's no Welshman in my guard army. Any called Jones gets shot before they go to the battlefield.
Well, they just changed the name to John instead. John's acting strangely instead now.
Yeah.
I still reckon the Tyrannid 2nd edition codex is probably one of the most characterful codexes, I think.
Oh yeah.
Eldar codex is broken and just designed to make people upset and annoyed.
It is broken, isn't it? That event table. I mean, we've decided on the last round, Jason's going to use my NIDs against my Chaos Force, so I am for the first time ever going to have to suffer that event table. Because when we
that's going to be funny.
Like you would never use anybody else's army, so I've never had to suffer that event table. So
I'm bringing weighted dice. So I'll be making sure I have all those dice.
Oh yeah.
And then as soon as I have to suffer it, I'll be like, that is so broken. Praetorians, and I got some to build upon on that. But I want to redo the tanks in a more Praetorian fashion. Yeah.
Anyway.
I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, what I'd love to do, there's loads of stuff we can do. I'd love to have lots of woods around and have your loads of Terminators on a hill like the Last Stand, and have just Gene Stealers coming up.
That would be a horrible. Gene Stealers are nasty.
And what I do is make sure I wouldn't have to recycle any units. I'd have enough models on the board, like 100 Gene Stealers. It'd be like Custer's Last Stand. That'd be awesome. You could soak hounds and heavy flamers and that, and then you cap it right at the top. We'll actually make a special hill for it. It'd be great, and make sure there's a clearance of like 18 inches so I can't get across in cover. Just stupid everything. You rolling jams everywhere. It'd be great.
Yeah. 3 jams in one go.
Gentlemen, we just reached the 2-hour mark. I think we're going to call it tonight, but I really want to thank you.
See, you've got no staying power, Josh. That's the problem, right? We're just getting warmed up.
Oh, yeah, okay, we can keep going if you want to keep going. That's fine.
No, Joe, no, you do.
19 people in the chat room, 19 people listening and watching, which is fantastic. And again, thanks everybody for watching. And I'm sure you've been entertained with both Richard, Jason, and Danny tonight. And it's good to see, because I think that's hopefully some new eyes are being brought to Bring and Battle and Nostalgia Hobbies. Nostalgiahammer Hobbies, and that people can contact you or get in touch with your YouTube channel to see what you're doing there. Because, we've got to fight the algorithm, guys. We've got to fight the algorithm. To bring people's,
Well, you've done really well with your latest one, haven't you?
Yeah, the latest one's just gone off the charts.
Off the charts on it now.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I've got to thank Ed too massively from Minisodes for sharing my video, because it brought a lot of guys from his channel over to my channel that probably didn't even know about it. And that's the thing, if you share things between us, that's how people find out about your stuff. Because it was only the other day when someone's thing came up on my to watch list or whatever on YouTube. It's a guy out of Scotland. Is it Sky something? I can't remember his actual channel name. Anyhow, he does a brilliant range of videos on painting, collecting high elves, painting them. He did a Man of War unboxing. He did Necromunda stuff as well. Really good stuff. Really good channel. But I would never have found him if it hadn't just popped up on my screen at that time, that day.
Oh, who's that? I've not heard of him either.
I am going to find out right away for you, mate. Hang on a second.
See, what I like is there's quite a lot of support within this community because of what we're doing. And right at the beginning sort of thing, Danny mentioned that mini-scape, you've ended up talking to him.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Supportive of you. And I think that's great that as creators and that were quite supportive to each other.
Yeah, I'm trying to work my head around how all the social media aspect and how it all works and everything, just so I can try and do a lot more of the sharing stuff and a lot more community work myself as well. Like you say, just getting out there, like doing the social media community, sort of chatting to people as it goes through it.
One thing I did for Josh, and obviously you need to do, I can do the same for you if you want. Well, I will do. It's irrelevant, I'm going to do it. Is there's other Facebook groups out there, like there's the Rogue Trader Facebook group.
Yep.
There's a French second edition group. There's a 2.5 second edition group. You've got your third edition group. I didn't bother inviting you to that one, Josh, because you don't read third edition. But there's loads of other different Facebook groups out there that you need to get on. So when you do something, you just put a link on your program. Even with your death company, every now and again, if I do a Tyranid post, I'll put it on a more up-to-date Tyranid Facebook group, and they love the nostalgia. So there's nothing to say. You could get your death company, and I'll bet if you put in your search bar Blood Angels or something like that, there'll be about 3 or 4 channels up there, or groups in there. You can join one of them and say, "Yeah, it's a bit of nostalgia for you." Bang.
Yeah.
Because you do it, but when we've done 9th edition Crusade stuff, you used to put your neck on.
So Captain Skyhawk is the name of the guy's channel.
Captain Skyhawk.
There you go, look, there's a Man of War Facebook group. There's a Facebook group for, you'll probably find there's a Necromunda, there's a there's Epic, Space Marine, there's all sorts of groups. You just got to look for them and join them.
Yeah, definitely. So we just that's the great thing about live streams or having Discord or doing the podcast. You can get people more aware of what's out there, and they can print their stuff off if they don't have the models. They can't afford to get the original stuff. You can print out all the contents of the games, the tokens, and that kind of thing. So you can get into it if you really want to. You can find cheap stuff online. There's trading groups, of course, on Facebook, which are great. They sell a lot of stuff. Some guy had yesterday the second edition of Space Hulk, like new, like everything was still on through, everything was still on cardstock and everything.
Yeah, great. It was brand new.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, he was going to go for like 100 quid, and some bloke was like, "That's far too."
So,
but the problem is, nostalgia puts the price up on stuff. It's like you look at the original Space Hulk game, and when you proper look at it, those Terminator models are crap. But you suddenly pay into the nostalgia of having that old set.
So it's Warhammer Man of War,
just check out Facebook. There's a wealth of information. Go to the file section. So you go into the group, you go to the file section, you'll find all the downloads. You can download all the rules and everything. So
that's what's good about the Second Ed group on Facebook. There's so much on there in that file section. And as Facebook groups go, I think that's one of the most supportive ones out there. There's other ones, they bitch like hell.
Yeah.
Some of the Facebook groups I've been on before, some of the Eldon ones, they cry all the time. I was like, oh my god. Yes,
That's a really good point. Like the people in these groups, they're like around our age mostly, but all of them are great. You know what I mean? There's no trouble. There's no bullshit. There's no kind of bitching, trolling, anything like that. Everyone's really great, supportive, and you know what I mean? So it's excellent. It's a great time to be in the hobby, actually.
It's more of a nostalgia element starting to make its way into it as well lately. I seem to be noticing as well. Like you're getting there's more of a renewed interest in some of the older games ranges lately.
Yeah. But that could be because of our age, where we're trying to get back and capturing our youth. I mean, you do a lot for the community, though, mate.
We can't afford a Ferrari, so I think.
Can't afford a Ferrari. We'll just spend it on old metal models.
Yeah, Dave encapsulated right there. This is the best time to be doing 90s Warhammer. I think he's right. I think and you'll probably agree with me now. Like when I first got into Warhammer and that kind of thing, well, I spent so long painting. You know, I want everything perfect. I want everything painted. So I never got to play the games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fast forward 30 years later. Well, I'm a much quicker, faster painter. I'm playing more now than I ever did back in the 90s. You know? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah.
Well, I'd say we're playing more different games.
Yeah.
We just literally done 40k all the time.
Yeah.
But the fact we're branching out Kings of War, Bolt Action, rules, and what's really funny, going back to 3rd edition, older and wiser, you really do appreciate the set of rules that you never did when you started playing them when they first came out, because there was so much. You were so against it when they first came out because they dumbed it down as far as you were concerned. It's too smooth. Where the hell's all my biomorphs gone from my nids? What's going on there? Why are certain capitals now only 12 inches, crying out loud? And it for us, it was we met it with a bit of, really? But going back now, as adults playing it, and you think, wow, this is actually quite a smooth set. It's surprisingly plays fast.
Started playing third.
Yeah, but then that's when we first started playing, was in the shop, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's how we met.
That's right.
Years ago.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? You guys should have like an anniversary game or something, maybe.
Yeah, we did. Maybe you want to watch it.
We did the whole weekend.
Yeah, we done a whole weekend, Josh.
Okay.
Danny came down.
I wasn't.
Did you watch that live battle report?
No. a little bit.
You know what? Hats off to Danny. He gonna be. We rode up for a mission. I ended up with, I think it was Trap or Terrorize, and he was like, "Oh, well, do you want to do tiered attack?" Yeah, all right. And he came forward and attacked. He didn't hold back and try to survive. I mean, it even came down to me chasing one character down in the end, so it's out of a close game. But the fact of the matter is, he charged forward, and I think he had one squad of close to take on him in the end. 4 different groups of Hormigons because they kept charging straight on because he come that far forward. I could charge him straight away.
I think it was at least three broods of Hormigons. Hormigons ended up taking on. Yeah, they just kept spawning. Then as soon as you brought them on charge, bang! Oops! I was there going, mistakes were made. Yeah.
I got lucky.
It lasted a while though. Oh yeah, it did. That was a fun game. I'm glad I chose that instead of went for that option instead of doing Terrorize.
Yeah,
just Terrorize. I think like trying to make Space Marines lose a psychological a break test or something like that. I don't think it would have really happened that much. To be fair,
no.
Would have for me.
It would have you. You're probably definitely.
Now that's a good way to segue into this as well. How did you guys meet each other? Like Danny and you guys, how did you guys get to know each other?
Actually, they met me just because I started watching their 2nd edition stuff, their 2nd edition battle reports, and I really liked it. And I had it was one of their, I think it was one of their live chats where Jason was digging at Rich Rich was digging at Jason for painting everything black, and I had the Eldar avatar. And I had an idea bobbing and bubbling around in my head of doing like a sort of a black cracked lava effect on it. And when they were digging each other about that, I just thought, because at the time I really liked their content. So I thought, do you know what? Sorry, I'm just going to paint the avatar up for Rich. And I painted Jason up the Chaos Lord, for Space Marine Chaos Lord they brought out.
Nice.
And that was basically it. And then after I sent it to them, whilst I was painting them up, I started having a couple of ideas because I was freelancing for a commission painting studio. I started thinking about maybe sponsoring them or something like that, and then that didn't quite pan out. But then I thought, well, why don't I just sponsor them myself? See how it does. If nothing else, just at the time I wasn't doing my YouTube channel; it was just the commission painting stuff. So I thought, if I just paint some stuff for them, it appears on their channel. It was also break time for me as well, because I was painting a lot of models that, whilst I like painting them, it wasn't necessarily what I love painting. Whereas like the old Hammer stuff, like 2nd edition 40k, Warhammer Fantasy, Blood Bowl, that sort of stuff, that's what I really love painting. I can paint for I could paint for hours and hours and hours and hours a day, non-stop, and like not feel the burnout at all. I just love it. Yeah. So I thought, you know, there's like downtime for me as well. And to be honest, it's branching out into stuff that could be really nice. So I've got a whole load of chaos stuff to do for Jason. Well, I've got some, again, future videos planned on mine for that, where I want to do a load of the conversion stuff you saw in the Chaos Codex, where they just got like tentacles added and stuff. So it gives me an opportunity to start messing around with conversions and stuff. And yeah, it's basically it. It's basically just because I really liked what these two goons were doing. I think that was the way I put it, wasn't it? Watching these two goons on YouTube. It's just, yeah, it's like start off doing something that's like, you know, thanks for rekindling my love of second edition with the Avatar and the Chaos Lord. And it just kind of branched on from there, really, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mate, you should get some Epic Space Marine stuff in the mail too soon, I reckon. More Epic Space Marine coming soon, I think. Yeah, but it's like
when I undone that box, right? Because we've been talking via Messenger and keeping it a secret from Jay, sort of thing. You were saying, well, what Chaos Army does it like? And I managed to find out it's Night Lords. Yeah, and then you wanted to know what helmet to paint. I said, "Oh, make it a Space Wolf or something." So then you sent the letter. So I opened it up and started reading it. Blah 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 blah. And the Avatar sphere. I went, what?
I never even mentioned the Avatar.
What's he done? Bloody hell! When it's black, so meant to be black.
Yeah,
mate, that's awesome. I got that. I got that in private place at home at the moment, and just trying to find an army decent enough to, because it's kind of a special character and it's 300 points. You got to justify it on the board because he's so hard. So he will take the table later, and when that Chaos Lord sort of that Night Lord, because you want a Night Lord army anyway, don't you? Yeah, I will be working on one. Yeah, so he'll be on the video later.
Nice.
Yeah, mate, you blew us away with that. We were like, no way. And then when you wanted to help with some sponsors, that Blood Angel, I mean, that's going to see some action soon as well. Yeah.
Oh, that was so much fun painting that.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed painting that.
The other Blood Angel models from that will then mean we can do another showcase battle report with that. Yeah.
Although, actually, that's one thing I was going to mention, Rich. I have noticed you're missing a Tech Marine. You've got a Dreadnought, but no Tech Marine.
For who?
Blood Angels.
Yeah, well, the rules are 30 years old. We're a bit flippant with them now.
Oh, I don't know. I think
Tech Marine model. I haven't got spare. Well, saying that, my Tech Marine for my Dark Angels is red, so. Yeah, it's what he's got a green shoulder pad.
No, that's true. No. Yeah. You're cheating, man.
So I'll have to get a Tech Marine then. Yeah, I'll have to scour eBay for that.
Oh yeah, well I've got one of the more recent. I think it was the 3rd or 4th edition Tech Marine that came out. You can only tell because the bolt pistol's got that slightly different clips design for it, which it had. But other than that, like a lot of them, I think like you compare.
I don't think you'd see that from 3 foot away when I've got the camera up here. So that's
very true. No, that's true. That's true.
I like what you did with the bolt pistols on the side, the plasma guns on the side. That was great.
They're going gangster.
Yeah.
It always used to annoy me, you know, like with the second ed models, when you put the pistols on, they'd always have like that long gap because the pistol didn't quite fit on the hand properly with the shoulder pad.
Yeah.
And it always used to drive me nuts. And I figured if you just cut the wrist and turn it sideways slightly, then you can fit them on a lot better and it looks a lot more natural that way.
Yeah.
And it still worked quite well. So I quite like that. That was a nice, nifty little trick. I hope you like the little trick with the decal as well. Quite like that. Because that's
decals, mate. Driving me nuts.
You painting that skull was awesome.
See, I love using decals because freehand's always been something I've really struggled with. So I focused on trying to figure out decals and then using them to work on freehand design from that. So you like apply the decals. I use all like the micro sol and the micro set stuff to like smooth the decal out and stuff. Go over it with like your matte varnish, and then I basically treat that as an outline for the freehand, and then just paint in around that, and then build up from it.
Yeah.
And it can work really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you watch some of the videos Josh has done when he's painted his banners. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. They are beautiful.
The other way. I never used transfers. I had to do everything freehand, so I've gone the other way around. You know what I mean? But I know that now doing the commissions, like I did the undead one for David. Yeah, using those transfers on the shields, I would paint over the transfers. You know, like because the skulls needed some shading, and you do some highlighting, and I put like eye patches on some of like the Marauder miniatures. And that kind of stuff. It was fun. It was good. Yeah, it saves all the time. But,
but I must say I did love your the banners you did. I think the first banner I saw you do, Josh, was it the ogre banner?
Yeah.
You did. That was the first one I saw you doing, and I just remember watching that going. Yeah, it brings back so many memories, like you say, from looking at the old Warhammer Armies books and stuff like that, and the covers of White Dwarf when the models would be jumping out the pages at you.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like the nostalgia edge that I'm trying to chase. I miss it.
I think the one ogre model I love, and if I was going to buy it just for my own painting pleasure, and I know painting is not my forte, so is that ogre model when he sort of stood there with his hand on his hip and he's got the hand on the sword, but the sword's actually poking through the scabbard. That's going to be my favourite all-time ogre model.
It's brilliant.
Such a beautifully crafted model.
I actually painted one of those for my Blood Bowl team for Orcs back in the day.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, because I didn't like the Morgan Fall guy, so I grabbed him instead. But awesome model. Jez Goodwin Ogres, the mercenary ogre match.
Yeah.
And he's such a nice guy as well.
Yeah. You had a few drinks in it, didn't you, at Warhammer World?
Yeah, we were lucky enough I was lucky enough to chat to him. Well, we went to, because you won a competition, didn't you?
Yeah,
so we went up there, got chatting to him, and I said, better go, better not take up all your time. And he turned around and said, well, no one else wants to talk to me. I do. So we ended up chatting to him for ages. Yeah. Then the talk got moved along, and I said, I've got to go. Really nice guy. Had a deep voice.
Yeah, he smokes like a chimney, mate. He was smoking. When I went to the studio, like he had an orientation thing, they brought you around to every single department. You got to meet everybody. So Jez had his own little room, and he was just sitting there looking out the window, and he was like, because like Silk Cut is like one of the cigarette brands then.
Yeah.
He was like just smoking away, looking outside and that kind of thing. He had like all the miniatures, all the Marines and stuff he designed on this big shelf around him. So he had like all the actual the first cast miniatures, all the tin stuff, all the tin models.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, wow, looking at all the stuff. And I was like, man, this is Jez Goodwin. Like I was so overawed with him. It's like, oh, Jez, you're the best, mate, But he wasn't really interested. He was like just looking out the window, smoking away. And as soon as he finished the first one, he just picked up another one, lit the second one. Constantly, smoking all the time. So yeah, that's why he's got this real deep, husky kind of voice. The real smoker's voice, the gravelly voice. He's a fucking legend though. Jez is the best.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he was. I said to him, I still use, and whether it's nostalgia or whatever, but I cannot get past.
Yeah,
the Rogue Trader Elder Warwalker. I don't use any others. For me, that is just such a great miniature. I love it. I can't get my head around using his other one where they got these little false shields in front of them. I didn't even like the second end one where they were kind of more sat in a reclining chair. I just don't know. It just blew me away as a kid when that Elder Warwalker came out with the rules and that with the flickering power field where you can only penetrate that if you roll 5 or 6. It dropped for a split second while it delivered its salvo, and then the shield went back up. I just loved it. I just love the Warwalker. And I got loads of them. I got about 9 of them. There's three still in bits in a bag in the garage. But I just think it's one of my favourite vehicles. Love them. Love it.
Well, send them off to Danny. Send them off to Danny with the Epic Space Marine stuff. See what we can do with it. There you go. Done deal.
But it's like the old metal Eldar Dreadnoughts, the Rogue Trader ones, when you had the War Cry, the Banshee, and the D1, War Demon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, something about them just hits it right there. Love them.
Nice.
I mean, the newer ones. I got the newer ones where they got the sword and the weapons on the shoulder mounts.
Yeah,
they're nice. I can't knock them, but there's something about the old metal ones. That's nostalgia. That's pure nostalgia. I know it is.
Yep, absolutely. So we've got 19 viewers still here, guys. Please like and share and the video if you can, please. And please check out the affiliated links in the show notes for Bring and Battle Wargaming. And Danny's, he's got his paint. I've got his painting website on there for Nostalgiahammer Hobbies. But please go and check out Danny. Your YouTube channel is under the same name, Nostalgiahammer Hobbies, is it?
Yeah. So the YouTube one is Nostalgiahammer Hobbies. The website is Nostalgiahammer Studios.
That's right, Nostalgiahammer Studios. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so
it's two different ones.
Now, let's see. What does my old mate Archdate say? Sorry, that's I'm mixing names up now. My good Scottish friend, Kental Trout. That's it. It's one of the unpronounceables. Ogre mercenary captain. He features in Blanche's painting too, with the dwarf army in front of a fortress at foot of some mountains. Yes, I remember that one too. I really love that Blanche painting of when ogres could join the empire and dwarves too, when it was like a multi-race.
Yeah.
I loved all that. Yeah, it was great. Still the best era for me anyway.
Look,
you know, guys,
drag another 25 minutes out of Josh. He's like, I want to go and have my tea.
Now, let's we're wrapping up today, guys. I think everyone had a good dose of 90s nostalgia today with Bring and Battle and Nostalgiahammer Hobbies. Again, guys, look, if you're looking for a miniature commission painter, I recommend Danny here. He does some excellent work. Go and check out his YouTube channel. Check out what he's done with his the Death Company. You did that.
Yeah.
You did a restoration on a Predator tank so far. Because sometimes I get like inquiries from the UK, but then they realize how much the import taxes are. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you got to send it back. So sometimes it doesn't work out. I get a lot of custom from US customers and from Japan. So that seems to work out better for me. So if you are in the UK or in Europe and you're looking for a really good, like a Nostalgiahammer painter, please check out Danny's website in the links below at his studio. And if you're looking for second edition battle reports, Bold Action, Kings of War, Gorka Morka, what am I missing? Anything else out, guys? Any other games?
Come on, you want to say it? Space Marine.
Yeah, come on, Space Marine.
Someday, yeah.
You can check out Bring and Battle Wargaming, okay, with Richard and Jason here. Okay, guys. So thanks again for joining us tonight, and guys, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Josh, mate. It's been great talking to you, mate.
Awesome. Yeah, that's another great. It's another great way to get people to that I've chatted on the podcast or whatever. Bring them back and have another chat. So way of doing that, catching up with people. All right, guys. So take care. Have a good.
See you guys.
Yeah. See you guys.
See you, everyone.